One of my buddies that I grew up with is starting to tattoo now, and he did this one on me
Dude, I've always
on
been a
my
fan of
calf.
American traditional style tattoos.
Yeah, so was my buddy Graham, and like,
Yeah,
uh,
because
I don't know. I think
so
he's like
this is
when we were like
of course the
14,
fucking
13. Like,
so of
damn it.
well, I mean, it's perfect. You can see the tattoo on it, but like it's my mom's side of the family's coat of arms,
Uh-huh.
and I got it done at a guy down in Southern California, and trying to remember what fucking town it was, but it was like one of the oldest tattoo shops in Southern California. And
Hell yeah.
I told the guy, I wanted the banner that had up on top that has the family name, the banner on the bottom that what country they're from, and then like the streamers coming around like you see with a lot of coat of arms. He was like,
Mhm.
"Oh no, only certain things can be tattooed." And in my mind, I'm like, "Dude, if you can't do it, just tell me that you can't fucking do it." Because I saw other guys with the exact thing that I wanted done, just not colored in at the point with that done, and I'm like, "Hello," because I wanted the streamers and everything to come up to the front and like just stop right before they touched on my shin.
Would have
And
been cool.
dude, it would have been fucking awesome. But no, he didn't do it. So eventually I'm gonna be getting it touched up. I'm gonna be getting the second you know, scroll with the Italia done on it, and then get the streamers eventually added in by somebody. So and then I still need to get this finished.
You just need like a bunch of money and time so I can just fucking get everything.
Dude, how's about this? We make a deal. Either of us win the lottery, we pay for not only ourselves but the other to get all of the tattoos that they want in like during like a 2 week session.
I have one problem with this. You're gonna lose out because I don't play the lottery. I
Watch
mean,
the one time you go buy a Powerball or Mega Million ticket, you're gonna win.
as much as I would love to think that it is, I like understand statistics on that one, and I'm just like, oh, this is beyond astronomically against me.
Dude, like I don't play all that often. Like I'll go buy like a couple of tickets every now and then, but it's usually like when the numbers are up higher and not like when somebody had just won and it's like 20 or 30 million, where if you win you're only getting like five and then have to pay more taxes on top of it.
I thought that like getting all just that like that was like would take it basically takes it down to half with all the taxes you're gonna pay on it. I didn't think it was three quarters.
So from what I was hearing is that taking the lump sum, which is the best way to get it, because that way you get that amount of money back in to you immediately and not the incremental. You end up paying more taxes if you get incremental than you do if you get it up front. But you still have to pay income tax on top of it, which is fucking stupid. So yeah, like the person who won the 1.5 billion a few years ago, apparently they only received like 400 mil out of it after taxes and everything.
It's still 400 mil more than they had. But
Exactly.
what the fuck?
Yeah. Um but like when you look at the 1.5 billion, you're like, "Oh, well they would have 750 million after taxes." And I'm like, "Well, no, that's after you pay those taxes back to the lottery, you still have to pay the IRS." Which is fucking stupid. You're like, well, hold up. Lottery says that I won 1.5 billion. Why am I only receiving 750 million, but I still have to pay taxes on top of that? It makes no fucking sense, but That's why a lot of the folks that I've talked to about that, I actually was listening to Shark Tank guy that owns the Spurs, Mark Cuban,
Oh, yeah,
and
Mark Cuban.
yeah, and he was saying if you take the lump sum, set up a trust first, so that way it like your tax rate doesn't go up, but it's still the trust because apparently trusts pay different percentages for taxes and shit.
Mhm.
But all I know
Oh,
is that if I won that kind of money, I would be buying enough property to rival John Dutton from Yellowstone.
fuck yeah.
Oh, dude, and you best believe that I would be making sure that there was that property that was, had a part of it was a part of that, that piece of land up there.
I've only seen, like,
Well, no,
probably
there is
half of the first season.
no there is a legitimate piece of land up there that is basically it's a dead zone for jurisdiction because nobody lives there, everything like that. Like it's not a part of any county or anything like that. It's just literally like there's no jury of your peers, there's no lawyer, there's nobody to basically for them to go up against and move it from that area and everything like that. It's a legal dead zone.
I think I read about that before. It's, like, in Yellowstone Park, but it's technically in Wyoming, but its jurisdiction is
Yeah,
another state or something
yeah.
like that.
It's like a jurisdiction of like five different places, but they're like no one's actually going to take it because basically then there's a whole thing and it's weird. But
Mhm.
it's also ironically on that same part of land where they have those basically like the superheated fucking pools of I can't remember what fucking element, but like it's not water, but if you fall into it, you're basically dead as soon as you hit it because it's so fucking hot. And it's a way to get out because they can't retrieve the bodies. Like the body, they leave them there, and basically the everything in there just disintegrates within a pretty short amount of time for compared to normal decay.
I think it's sulfuric acid and something else.
Yeah, it's like yeah, thanks yeah, sulfuric acid and yeah, something else. But yeah, it's like dangerous to fall into that.
Because that's like, you look at those
It's a
pools of water
caldera
and, like,
basically.
all the yellow in that is the sulfur.
Yeah.
And so, like, when
And it
it
looks
boils out.
blue. And it looks
Yeah.
blue when you're looking. Yeah, so yeah, and so like it could, and they also quit having people go up there because apparently there wasn't a lot of wind for a while, so the fucking poisonous fumes were just going right up into people.
Making them pass out and die,
Oh
basically.
yeah, and people don't realize is that that's on par with fucking H2S gas, which will kill you in a breath.
Yeah, so the site that I'm currently working up here, we have to monitor for it every day. It's really fun.
Oh, fun, dude.
I
Like
mean,
oh
it's not horrible, but, like, most of it's contained in the vapor stream that we're, like, capturing,
yeah.
but, like, we had a few pipes break, and we didn't realize it one
Oh,
day
oh,
because,
all of a
like,
sudden, someone's like,
they were
"I
under
smell
vacuum, luckily.
almonds."
No, it was one of those ones where it's like they were under vacuum, but it was still CPVC, chlorinated polyvinyl chloride, so it's an upgraded form of PVC.
Yeah,
It's it's light gray instead of dark gray like PVC 80 is.
yeah,
So, but it's what the standard for the environmental industry is for, like, a lot of things,
yeah,
and, it was running above between our condenser and our vacuum blower. So it was under vacuum, and it was just like, "What the fuck is that whistling sound?" And I'm like, got a ladder, and I looked at it, I'm like, "Oh,
oh no.
pipe's cracked." I'm like, "Oh, shit."
Yeah, it's just one of those you go from being perfectly fine to your asshole slammed shut.
I didn't have that problem because I'm like, "Alright, it's under vacuum, so I know it's pulling in fresh air," but it was one of those, like, "This pipe's gonna break. Oh, shit." So, like,
Hey guys, shut this down. We need to fix this.
well, first it was find parts, go grab my respirator, like, all that stuff, like, get the 4 gas meter, and then it's just playing the game of like, all right, I got to fix
Oh,
this as
oh
fast as possible.
yeah, dude. No, that goes back into the conversation that we had the last time we did this about with going into confined spaces or airtight spaces and shit like that, especially when they're made out of metal. Because there was a story that I heard about where these inspectors are going to check this space on a cargo ship or something like that. And instead of doing the smart thing of sending the fucking air tester down there to make sure that it's safe to go down there, they just fucking went down there. And as soon as they touched the ground, out cold. And it took like two guys going down there to try to after that first person, and then they realized, hey, shit, we need to fucking test the air, and they tested the air, and then they're like, there was no oxygen in the air down there, period. And when they turned on the light, everything was rusted, like literally the fucking iron ate up all the oxygen and rusted, and it was a pure CO2 environment, or yeah, it was a pure carbon environment basically. So there was
Hmm.
no breathable air in there, and unfortunately, those guys died. But yeah, no, that's why.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, no, that's why. Like, especially whenever I was in the Navy, like before I even started crawling down into a space, I shined a flashlight and looked around even beforehand because I'd heard horror stories from my grandfather, from guys from Vietnam and shit like that. And but yeah, I would shine in and look around to make sure that that I could still see painted metal and shit like that. And then I was like, okay, safe to go in here for now. Until you smelt the fucking rotten eggs, you're like, nope, getting out.
That's what fans are for.
Exactly.
They only do so much.
Right? Especially whenever you have a space that the only time it actually gets air in there is when the hatch is opened. Yeah, no.
Um,
Uh dude, no. One of the fucking scariest places I ever had to fucking crawl into whenever I was in the Navy, ironically it was not the engine room. Whenever we had to help with the fucking oil water fucking wipe down and shit like that. It was on my first ship, and they had me crawling into the inside of the old missile launcher because they still had the base for it, which still had a bunch of to do the tag outs and everything like that. Dude, that shit was fucking terrifying.
like, wait, you were tagging out missiles?
No, no, not no, no. Like basically the guts, like the electronics and motor and everything like that of the old missile launcher that
Right.
used to be on the ship. Um, Basically, like there's no lighting in there. There is barely enough room for a flea to turn around, and you're basically having to go in there and find those little lockout tags and pitch fucking dark, making sure that you put the right one on there, taking the old one off and everything. And I'm just like, I'm sitting in there and I'm like, no, like at the time I was, like buck 75 ish, but I was, I'm like 5'9.5" to 5'10" ish, depending on the day. And I'm like, guys, do you honestly expect me to fucking fit in there? And they're like, oh no, don't worry, I did it. And then I was literally having a hard time, and I was like trying to make myself as small as fucking possible. I when I got done doing that, I was like, I don't care what the fuck you guys fucking throw against me. I will fucking fight you if you try making me go back in there. And I'm not claustrophobic. That shit terrified me,
I've
especially
heard
when you're
things
doing it.
like that before.
Yeah, especially when you're doing that out to sea, when you're out on the water and you're going and you don't know where your fucking footholds are.
Yeah, that was my experience with when we did shipboard test and evaluation on the Osprey. And uh I'm not afraid of heights. I was afraid of heights that day when I had to go work on the tail of the aircraft, hanging over the edge of the LHD-5 baton in the middle of the fucking night. That was the
Yeah,
only
dude.
time where I'm like, shit. And it's like not pitching and rolling a lot, but just enough to make you go, motherfucker.
And the funny thing is, they're like, oh, don't worry. If you fall over, that vest you have will keep you alive. And you're like, motherfucker, it is pitch black, and good luck seeing that little tiny strobe light in the middle of the fucking night.
Well, one in that, and they're also like, yeah, so if like you're within, I forget what distance to the side of the boat, the wake will pull you under. and you'll hit the propellers and die.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
what?
Yeah. Yeah, no, like that was also some of the most like I'm not afraid of the dark, I'm not afraid of the water, anything like that. Just being close to the edge of the ship when you're out at sea at night is a come to whatever fucking god you worship moment.
Oh, dude, you want to talk about like not afraid of the dark, not afraid of the heights, but this will fucking make you go, oh, what the fuck? So to get up on the flight deck from the maintenance decks, you have to like
Yeah,
go
you have to crawl
outside the
that fucking
ship.
ladder on the I know the ladder you're talking
Well, no,
about.
first you got to go out onto the catwalks and like walk along the side of the fucking ship just underneath it. And then there's a fucking ladder well. And like I forget the exact specifics, but I just remember going, I can't see shit. I don't know where I am. Luckily, I had like 5 cigarettes earlier this day, and like I knew like roughly where I was because that's where you smoke a cigarette in the middle of the day. And I was just like,
Yep.
oh shit. Like it's so dark. I can't see my hand in front of me. And it's the middle of a night on a Navy ship, so you're not allowed to use a fucking flashlight. But the
Even a red
entire
light.
flight deck is but the entire flight deck is lit up so you can see into maintenance. And I'm like, shit.
Oh yeah, dude. Dude, the fucking one time they had we were doing some fucking night op shit and they gave me the M14 with fucking rounds and everything like that. And then they're like, all right, hey, we need you to go post up on the forecastle of the ship. And I'm like, I go, all right, I go outside, I open the hatch, step out, close it, turn around, and I'm like, I can't see shit. Like I could not see my hand right here. It was that fucking dark. And no, I went from red light to that. And as you know, red light makes it easier to see at night whenever you transition from the light to outside. I could not see shit. We had 100% cloud cover. There was no starlight, no moonlight, nothing. I could not see a fucking thing. So I'm going there, and thankfully I had some chem lights on me. I fucking crack one, shake it up, and I'm holding it up like basically like every horror movie victim ever in the fucking caves with a fucking glow stick. And then I'm like, God, this isn't helping me at all. So you know how the chem lights that they give us come with those little fucking plastic fucking strings. I basically put it through there, tied off a knot there, tied off a knot at the other end, and I'm basically sitting there and I'm spinning it like a fucking helicopter to, you know, increase the range of the fucking light. And next thing you know, I hear somebody get rid of the fucking chem light, like from up top, and I'm like, you're having me come up here for fucking shark watch. I need to fucking see. Because they didn't give me
Oh
nods, they
God.
didn't give me anything. I'm like, you want me up here for Shark Watch where I can't see, and because of how badly the ship was pitching and rolling, because I was on a frigate, you know, one of the smaller ships, and as you know, the smaller ships they pitch and roll a lot more than the big ships, and you know, I'm up there and I'm basically one hand on the bulkhead going forward, open it up, close it, and I go following the bulkhead until I get to the other side. I'm like, okay, so go back a bit and then turn, and I just walk out into nothingness. And I'm like, okay, don't just stay roughly center. You'll hit where the 25 is. You'll get under there. Then you just hang your chem light and everything. And dude, it was fucking terrifying. And then next thing you know, my one of my first classes, who apparently was not told that I was going to be up there, uh, learns that I was up there, comes up to me, and he goes, dude, I don't know who the fuck told you to be up here. You were not supposed to be up here during this. Grab the chem light. We're walking back. I have one hanging up on the fucking on the hatch over there. We're going to walk back as carefully as we fucking can. So we get inside, and he's just like, dude, who the fuck told you to be up here? And I'm like, oh, well, fucking so and so told me to be up here for fucking Shark Watch. He goes, dude, no, you're supposed to be on the fucking the bridge where there's lights. And then I go, oh, okay, that explains why I got yelled at. It just again goes to show the fucking shit show that is the U.S. military.
Yeah. It's not
Fucking
the military though, it's the people in it.
the leadership in it specifically,
Yeah.
because let's be fair, like they went from promoting the guys who were actual leaders to the guys who just worked their knee pads and made it look like they were a leader on paper.
Yes. But I had some good dudes and I had some bad dudes. I think there was a decent mix at my place. And then we started getting people coming over and transitioning from 46s into the V22. And then it was just a fucking crapshoot of everything. And it was just like, oh shit.
Yeah, dude, I don't know how you did it fucking working on the Ospreys, man. I heard horror stories about those things.
I mean, so when I started, it wasn't fleet operational. And they were, we were at the test and evaluation squadron. So they wanted it to be fleet operational. So everyone was watching us. And if we really needed something, we could get it.
Yeah, but
So flight hours, maintenance stuff, everything. Like we didn't have a problem with that. And the bigger problems started coming when it went fleet operational. And then it just became standard Marine Corps problems of we can't get this, but we need you to do this.
that's not just standard Marine Corps operations. That's just standard U.S. military, unless you're Spec Ops.
Well, I think it's slightly worse than the Marine Corps than other branches because the budget is less, but they
Oh
have
yeah,
such high ambitions,
yeah, that and the fact that you guys get all the hand me downs from the army doesn't
except for
help.
the Osprey.
Except for the fucking Osprey, because there were two fucking vehicles in the entire U.S. military history that the army did not want, that the Marine Corps was like, we're taking that. And the Osprey was one, and then the other one was the Beast from Vietnam. It was basically the tank that was made by farmers and the grunts, and basically had fucking six recoilless rifles on top of it, and then they used a 50 cal to sight them in.
Mhm. But have you seen what the Army is using to replace the Blackhawk?
No one, I'm kind of scared.
It's basically a smaller version of the Osprey made exclusively by Bell instead of just Bell Boeing, instead of Bell and Boeing.
Oh yeah, because Boeing's in a lot of trouble right now.
Well, Bell, um, the only thing that they had going for them for a while was just the Osprey program. So they were banking on it. So they're the ones that made all the helicopter like moving components for it
Yeah.
for the Osprey, everything on the wings and up and out. Bell made, and then Boeing just made the fuselage and the landing gear. So it's like
Oh,
cool.
yeah,
Like
yeah. You mean the thing that caused the majority of the deaths in the Osprey was made by Boeing? Go fucking figure.
yeah, so Bell made oh shit, I'm spacing on the name of it. It's like the Bell 280 or the V280. I might be totally fucking wrong, but it basically looks like Osprey wings and rotors with like a Black Hawk body.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's whatever.
I'm surprised that Skunkworks didn't take over doing that, because that's kind of their fucking thing.
From what I understand, I think they're more concerned with making like bombers, fighters, and surveillance.
Yeah, fair.
Like they want to make shit for the Air Force that's high dollar.
Yeah, well, not yeah, yeah, because the SR-71 Blackbird is still the sexiest fucking plane ever.
I was just watching videos last night about how they think Skunks Works is in low rate production for the SR-72 right now.
Ooh.
Like all of the evidence is circumstantial, and like the guy says it too. He's like, "This is like sandbox news." Like the guy is fantastic at reporting like air power and air dominance stuff,
Yeah.
and he's a former Marine too. And he even says he's just like, all of this is circumstantial. It doesn't prove anything, but the dots all line up. And I'm like, oh shit.
Dude, I mean, because the fact that let's see, the SR-71 was made just before or just after Nam, or if I remember correctly,
Somewhere in that time frame, yes.
and the fact that that plane was basically hitting just below breaking fucking atmosphere and going into fucking space. They're basically making a fucking spaceship that doesn't need all the fucking rockets and shit to go up.
Oh no, it's crazier than that. The SR-72. So it's a scramjet, I believe.
Oh
So the
god.
regular jet, so the regular jet function gets it to like Mach 3, Mach 4, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And that's when the scramjet function takes over. And at that speed, I might be fucking this up. At that speed, the amount of air getting forced into the air inlet is like super compressed and super heated, and the engine changes how it's going to work and function at that point because it doesn't need to be compressed inside the engine. And it does something different with the air mixture ratio. And it basically functions as a fucking rocket. So this thing could maybe get to Mach 7, possibly 10.
Jeez. Oh, so basically the fucking plane that they showed in fucking Top Gun Maverick. Got it.
That's basically what they're saying. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, it's basically Dark Star because like, and that's another thing in this video too is like Skunkworks uh
Yeah, yeah, they were basically they helped.
advised.
Yeah, they advised things in Top Gun Maverick.
Yep. And they're like, okay. And then like a couple weeks after that, Russia said that they were like making all of their scramjet hypersonic whatever fucking missiles that supposedly go to that speed. And within 2 weeks, everything on Lockheed Skunkworks site and everything they've ever put out about the SR-72 or their scramjet stuff was redacted and pulled off their website. And the only thing they have is, yeah, we're going into
Maybe.
low rate production on something by Palmdale, California.
Well, I mean, for one, for stuff like that, you'd think that these fucking, military contracting companies, military industrial complex companies would realize we probably shouldn't be having this stuff available to the fucking public. That you think that they would have learned a while ago. But at the same time, they're also wanting to flex their stuff and hopefully get people to be like, okay, hey, yeah, no, we're okay with our tax dollars going to this. But
Well, the other crazy thing is like we design our stuff for what
the
our
enemy
quote
has.
unquote adversaries say they have and are
Yeah.
capable of. And then it proves that like no,
And the
yes, it is that weapons system. That's the name of it, but it cannot do half of what they say. And we're like,
and we have grossly overcompensated.
we went, but you shouldn't have done that. And like, why
Oh
don't you
yeah, no,
just do what it can do?
I just love how a lot of them are like, oh no, you can't be you're whatever. They're basically all complaining because we're we have anything and everything to counter everything that they said that they have, and we're like, listen, it's not my fault that you were lying about what you were capable of, and I decided to make sure that no matter what, I was more capable than you. The fact that I am 10 times more capable than you is more your fault than mine.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
let's see.
That's
Apparently, one of the fucking rumors that I heard is that like Buff is getting ready to be getting fucking new engines and shit like that to be able to compete with the fucking speed of the fighter jets right now, while fully loaded.
it's going to get uh full on jet upgrades on all eight of its engines that are less efficient but faster.
And it is even more nuclear capable. And no, this is all public fucking knowledge too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh, dude, it is. Could you imagine if they took those same jets and put them on a fucking AC-130? I just gave you a
They
freedom
s
boner, didn't I?
oh, so they so fucking should because, um actually, no, I think the problem would be making them fit. So the AC-130 is a turbofan engine, and it's the same one they use in the Osprey. And the Marine Corps wanted it that way because that's less parts to buy, so they want commonality between their aircraft. So, like, the engine here can
Yeah.
go in the Osprey. They tested it in the 53 back when the 53 was metal, and now that they have the 53 kilos in carbon fiber, they're like, "Perfect, it can go in there too."
All right, I have a tough choice to make. Should I go extra stout or regular stout with my Guinness?
It's afternoon, right?
Yeah, it is now officially noon.
Then you can go extra stout. Regular Guinness is a breakfast beverage.
This is true, especially when you get their nitro cold brew, which is basically just cold brew coffee mixed with their stout beer.
Still haven't got to try that yet. And one of my literally my best friend, Ryan, from we were in the Marines together, is like, it's the fucking best. You need to try it. And I just keep spacing and I just grab regular Guinness.
Dude, well, they only sell it in the cans, and so as you know, with Guinness in the can, you don't drink it from the can; you pour it into a glass. It is so good. And my wife got me a can once, and I tried it. And I was just like, "Why did they wait so long to make this a thing?" Because it is literally a breakfast beer. Because it has your caffeine and your stout beer in it,
It sounds like the perfect pregame beer.
dude. It is. Like if they had had that, I would not have been having to make Irish coffees in the morning before going to the ship at days.
So my game winning move back when I was had a bit of an alcohol problem after the Marines was slam a 5 hour energy and then go out drinking for the night. That was a recipe for blacking out.
No, you see what
But I
I would
didn't have
do?
a hangover the next day.
No, you see what I would do is I would. Fuck, I don't have anything to show. Okay, there we go. All right, so say that this is just a regular like drinking glass, right? Same diameter, about same height, right? I would fill to about right there with Maker's Mark, and then the rest of the way up with the Arizona raspberry tea that you used to be able to get in the jug, and
Okay,
then
yeah.
and I would proceed to drink that till it was done. Do the same thing,
Uh,
and I would do that just throughout the entire night. I was doing that while playing games, watching movies, stuff like that. Whenever I got out of the Navy, because my sleep schedule was fucked, and I was shifted over to, being a fucking night gremlin Monday through Friday.
yeah.
Yeah, that was like the hardest fucking thing ever was trying to get my circadian rhythm back on track, and it's still not back on track. Because I did like what all of us did. It was like, oh, I know how to fix it. I'll stay up for, the entire next day and try to go to sleep at a normal time. And then when it's time to go to sleep, yeah, you get that first couple nights you're perfectly fine until you're up past when you were going to sleep, and you just go right back to being a fucking night owl almost instantly.
Yep.
And I blame
Now,
the Navy for it, especially because the first month and a half of my deployment, I was working 22-hour days, 7 days a week. Yeah,
well,
dude, my GMC had me working from '07 to '05, Sunday through Saturday, for a month and a half straight.
what the fuck?
Yeah, because not only was I doing my normal fucking working hours, that he also had me on fucking aircraft fighting detail, which was going to like 03 in the fucking morning, and then the debriefs after those things can take like 2 fucking hours and shit like that. So I'd be getting to my rack at like 05. I'd shower and then lay awake until like 06:30, fall asleep, and then have to be up at 07. And the funny thing is that everybody else that was on aircraft firefighting detail had late sleepers, not me, because my chief was a dick.
Yeah, he sounds like a dick.
And it's for reasons like that that I believe that the U.S. military should be able to contact the fucking NLRB, because I can understand like them saying no, we're not going to do anything, especially when you're in fucking like wartime things and shit like that. But like for shit like that, when you're the only one being stuck working those fucking hours, it there should be grounds for like filing a fucking lawsuit. Like I can understand if you're like out doing like a doing stuff outside of the fobs and shit like that, where you're doing the patrols and shit like that, when you're stuck out there for a few days at a time, where you basically have to do that so you don't fucking die. But when you're on a ship in the middle of the ocean in a non-war environment, no one should be doing that, especially for as long as I was.
Well, definitely not. No, that's a recipe for disaster and something getting fucked up. Like I know you're in the civilian sector like me now, so you've been through shit tons of safety briefs where they're like, "This is the Swiss cheese model of how things line up to fuck up," and that's like one of the major ones is this person wasn't alert.
Yeah, the biggest one is like, yeah, this person wasn't getting enough fucking sleep. And I'm like, yeah, no, 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 that makes sense. And during the fucking safety briefs and everything like that, the higher ups were like, all right, guys, make sure you get good amount of sleep, yada, yada, yada. And then the fucking senior enlisted step in and make it to where you're not getting any sleep. Like, I know that routinely the guys who were on watch overnight, they were not supposed to be a part of anything.
Mhm.
Like the guy, like on duty days and shit like that, they were not like, if you had the overnight watch, you weren't supposed to do anything that following day. You were either supposed to go to your fucking rack and get some sleep, or go the fuck home and get some fucking sleep. And even then, like the guys who fucking got stuck working like the 8 hour overnight shift after working the previous fucking day and shit like that, a lot of them, they just went to their fucking space, found a spot, and slept.
Yeah, no, I think duty days for us were like 24 hours, 7 to 7,
Yeah,
and
same
the
with
next
us.
day you're off.
No, not for us. On the ships, if your duty day was on a weekday and the next day was a weekday, you'd have to fucking stay there and do your normal fucking shit, which is fucking stupid. Where if you had duty on a Friday, yeah, you were off Saturday. If you did, but if you had that duty on that Sunday, you'd have to do the full workday on Monday. Also, it was fucking stupid.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. Uh, I think I told you this story before, but I can't remember, so I'm going to tell it again either way because it's fucking hilarious.
Mhm. Hit
So
me.
So I don't know how it was for you guys in the Marines, but for the Navy, whenever you're given liberty, if you've been drinking outside of an emergency underwear, they're not supposed to call you back to the ship. So the a lot of us say the military made us alcoholics. Well, my thing that I would do whenever I'd get home is I would go home and I'd grab 3 bottles of Guinness and I would shotgun them because I'm not a bitch.
As one
And
normally does.
yep. And so literally, as soon as I finished my third one and set it down on the counter to go get thrown into the trash, my phone rings and it's my chief. And he's just like, "Hey, you need to come back to the ship now." I'm like, "For what? Is something going on?" I've already started drinking. He goes, "I don't care. Get your ass back to the ship." And then I go, "Hi, chief." I looked at my wife. I'm like, "My chief just called me back to the ship." And she's like, "But you've already been." I'm like, "Yes, I know. I already told him. He told me to still get back to the ship." She goes, "All right. So what do you want to do?" I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna finish these other 3 Guinness real quick, and then you're gonna drive me back to the ship." So I proceeded to shotgun the other 3 Guinness. So I killed a whole 6 pack in like 5 minutes. And wife drives me back to the ship. I tell her to just park in one of the fucking the parking spots there close to the end of the pier. So I get out, I walk up to the gate. No, I'm in civies because I changed at the ship for my work, got changed, went home because you know if I'm gonna be there early, I might as well fucking kill some time. But so both one of my buddies from my ship and my buddy who was one of the base police were working at that gate. So they're like, dude, what the fuck? You were just cut out for Liberty like 20 minutes ago. I'm like, I know, my chief's calling me back for some stupid shit. They're like, all right. I'm like, give me like 15 minutes. I'll be back. They're like, all right. So I'm walking down. Thankfully, our ship was one of the farther ships on the end of the pier. So I knew how to time it to when I was within eyesight of the quarterdeck. Like 2 paces before I got within eyesight of the quarterdeck, I started doing the little drunken sway. Walk up there, walking there as I'm walking up the little fucking like the ladder things that they had for the brow, like the stair things. I tripped going up those stairs. Uh, was on the brow, did half. You know how halfway across you have to salute the flag, and then permit. I was like, did that, and they're like, permission to come aboard. And then the best part was that my departmental leading chief petty officer, who was an E8 or an E8, he was a senior chief, is looking at me and goes, Kup, what the fuck are you doing back here? I'm like, GMC called me back. He goes, have you been drinking? Just did the drunken smile head nod. And he goes, wait there. Gets on the 1MC. And as you know, they're supposed to be professional, like one of their, like, chief, whoever, your presence is respectfully requested on the quarterdeck. He just goes, GMC Flores, quarterdeck, now. Could have been professional, could have just called him up on the radio or anything like that, or had him call him the quarterdeck. No, he went full 1MC. Your ass is in fucking trouble. We wait about like 2 minutes. My chief walks up, sees me, sees the senior chief before my chief could start tearing into me. The senior chief starts to. He goes, "What the fuck are you doing? Calling your guy back to the ship when he told you he's already been fucking drinking? You know that he's like, outside of us going on an emergency underway, if they've been drinking, you're not supposed to call him back." And it starts turning on him. What the fuck is the reason that you called him? He goes, oh, well, so he goes, oh, so you mean some shit you could have fucking done? Looks at me. He goes, Kup, go home, enjoy your 4-day weekend. I was like, but I have duty. He goes, I told you to fucking go home and enjoy your 4-day weekend. I'm like, hey, senior chief. And I go to fucking, permission to go ashore. He goes, Kup, I told you to fucking leave. And I go, and just walk across the brow, everything like that and whatnot. And then as I'm walking down the stairs, he goes, oh, after my chief had already walked away, and he yells over the side of the ship. He's like, Kup, if your chief tries to hit you for this on Monday, or on Tuesday, come fucking tell me. I go, senior chief, and, keep walking, everything like that. As soon as I'm out of eyesight of the fucking quarterdeck, I just go, walk normally, go to my buddy. My buddies are at the fucking gate and everything like that. Like, dude, that was literally 15 fucking minutes. What the fuck? And I go, I know. Fucking go there, go home, enjoy the weekend. I didn't have duty that next day, which was fan-fucking-tastic.
Nice.
Come back that Tuesday. As you could probably guess, my chief tried giving me a fucking counseling shit. Where you have to fucking do the whole sign of it. He's sitting there tearing into me, puts the fucking counseling shit down, yada, yada, yada. I just go, I grab the counseling shit, I walk out of the space, I go to where the senior chief is, because I know the code to get into that space. My chief doesn't. I enter the code, open, close the door. My chief is standing out there fucking banging on the fucking door. I walk in there, I'm like, hey, we're senior chief? And then he's like, right over here, goes, hey, what's up, Kup? I'm like, oh, not much, senior chief. My chief just tried having me sign this. He looks at that. No, this is at like 8 in the morning. So after we did the fucking, roll call and everything like that. And my the senior chief looks at that and he goes, question, is GMC outside the door? I go, yeah. He goes, send him in, enjoy the rest of your day, go home. All right, senior chief. Walk out. I open the door and I go, hey, chief, senior chief wants to talk to you. He goes, all right, well, you stay. And goes, I'm like, no, senior chief already told me to go home. Because you know it does. If someone higher up told you to do something, the person who's telling you to do something, you listen to the person who's higher rank.
Oh yeah.
So I go home, everything like that. My fucking first classes are calling me on my drive back. I'm like, dude, fucking senior chief has my back. He fucking knew what chief was trying to do. Ask senior chief. He'll tell you exactly what happened on Thursday. So, because he was trying, no, because my chief was trying to hit me with dereliction of duty, fucking drunk and disorderly, shit like that, and disobeying direct orders and everything like that. And he was basically trying to punish me for his fuck up, and it was
Oh yeah.
fantastic. Uh, and then ironically, because we like literally that next day we started doing our decommissioning process for the ship. So I rarely ever saw my chief again after that.
Oh, that's perfect.
Oh, and here's the fucked up thing. I got to my second ship, and it turned out that he was working shoreside for the inspections for our guns and everything like that. And he's sitting there trying to act all buddy buddy and everything like that. And whenever he walks away, my officer, my divo, my gunno, who him and I immediately fucking became bros because he wrestled in high school and college, and I wrestled in high school.
Hmm.
So, as you saw, it didn't matter what your rank was. When wrestlers met each other, they became best fucking friends.
Oh yeah.
And it pissed off the chief that I had at the time there because my divo had my fucking back, especially when my chief was in the fucking wrong. But my old chief was inspecting us for our 25s and everything like that, and he's going over the fucking how we're doing our maintenance and everything like that. And um I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, I just like today is the first day I'm taking these over. I have not had a chance to probably go through and do anything on this yet. Like I just got back from the school for it today. I don't know who's doing the maintenance while I was gone because I didn't have access to the fucking, the maintenance cards for the signatures and shit.
Uh-huh.
And we were going through that, and I went to and I turned to the gun and leaned it forward, and the barrel went like that. It was not locked into place like it was fucking supposed to be. And he's sitting there looking at me. He goes, and this is word for word what he says. He goes, I want to blame you for this, but the fact that you have documentation proving that it was not you, I can't. He did not know that my gunner was standing right behind him. And my gunner was like, Chief, exactly what the fuck does that mean? And he turns and he goes, yeah.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is that like for the maintenance for the 25s, it's supposed to be minimum 2 people, just because of the sheer weight of all the parts.
Makes sense.
I was doing it by myself.
That also makes sense.
Yep. Even though we had some folks that we had, because on my second ship they had the VLS system, the vertical launching system for the missiles and shit.
Yeah.
And I was the only gunner's mate we had in the armory. I was the only guy working, taking care of all of our small arms, all of that, which the small arms go all the way up to the 25. Yeah, at the same time, my
25
GMC that
millimeter?
yeah, 25 millimeter.
Mhm.
And the GMC that I had at the time was a 5-inch guy. So 5-inch diameter fucking gun. And he was kept trying to pull me out of the armory to go help them with stuff with the 5-inch. I'm like, I kept telling him, like, Chief, I'm the only armory guy we have. I have my own stuff I need to get done. You have 4 folks here in the 5-inch, and you have like 6 in the VLS. I'm the only one in the armory, which on a destroyer was the second largest work center on the entire ship. The only one that had more stuff than us was the bosun's mates. The ones who took care of the actual the ship itself.
One of my friends growing up was a boatswain's mate, and he was actually on the baton. So when we went on there, I'm like, I got the hookup, I got the baton, and I'm like, what do you do? And he was like standing on the back deck, the aft deck, and like pulling watch,
Yeah,
looking over the stuff one day.
so yeah, what they're supposed to do, yeah, the watch for that is basically checking to make sure that that no one's throwing anything over the side of the ship, or to make sure that nobody is. and the water.
Or that small boats aren't coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would do that, and like he did a bunch of other stuff too, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I basically just like paint this place." I'm like, "Why are you painting over the dirt?" He's just like, "Shut up." And but like it was also cool because like I introduced him to a bunch of my friends, and my best friend Ryan, who is the most friendly person you'll ever meet. Like within 5 minutes, he can make friends with you or less.
I'm the
And
same way.
yeah, like you would love this guy. He's fucking fantastic. And so like he got to like shoot the trash over the side of the fucking ship because he was working day crew. Um, he made friends with my buddy Keith, who's my buddy in the Navy, who's the boatswain's mate. And like Ryan drove the ship one night, all sorts of just fucking crazy shit. I'm just like,
Dude.
how the fuck is that my friend from growing up and you got to do all this shit, dude? He's like, I was working days. I'm like, "Ah, fuck off."
Oh, dude, when I first moved down here with my in-laws, when I, moved in down here to South Texas and everything like that, and I was at one of the parties that my in-laws threw and everything like that, and this was at the time when my in-laws did not fucking like me. They love me now, thankfully, and I love the fact that they love me. Um, and they were at the parties and everything like that, and my in-laws they were kind of upset because I became friends with their friends within like a span of like
Mm.
5-10 minutes. Like whenever we see them out in town, they're coming up and talking to me. Like if we're out with my in-laws and everything like that, I spot them first. I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" They're like, "Oh, hey, what's?" And they come up there, the handshakes and hugs and everything like that, and then then they see my in-laws. They're like, "Oh, hey, we didn't see you guys," and everything like that. My in-laws like, "What the fuck?" They were like, "What the fuck?" But now my father-in-law loves it because I use that ability and I let folks know, like, hey, by the way, if you ever have any AC heating requirements, my father-in-law owns an HVAC company. So I've been making sure like I've been getting my father-in-law's business name out there more and more and more. So that way, giving him free marketing.
Hell yeah.
So dude, like whenever I'm able to get the business that I want started up, I have a feeling that I'm gonna be good at making sure I get word of mouth around and inviting people out there and everything like that. Because
What kind of business do you want to do? Or is it too soon to start talking
I've been
about?
talking about this since I got out of the Navy. Cigar lounge, gunsmithing shop, game meat processing center, gun range, hunting property. It's just I need to get the funds together to first buy the property and then get the building up and everything like that. And it's going to be an all-in-one stop shop for a guy, as my wife calls it, or the husband/boyfriend daycare.
So there was a town next to mine growing up, very small town. It's called Brockton. And it was on the other side of that, closer to Westfield, where Welch's Concord Drape juice and jelly used to be made. It was on the line between those two towns where this building was, and it was called Chuck's Man Mart, and it was basically that. It was barbecue, a gun store. Uh, there was something else in there, but I remember barbecue and the gun store. So I'd like go to the barbecue part, get some fucking ribs, and then walk around the gun store part.
Just munching on the ribs while looking at guns. Oh, dude.
Basically, yeah.
Well,
There was something else there too.
so for all of my military veterans and first responders and everything like that out there, you guys are gonna love the name that I came up with for it. Morale Cigars and Gunsmithing.
Nice.
Because one thing I've always said, any veteran, military member, first responder, if we're walking around and we see a business called Morale, they could be selling fucking office supplies. We're gonna go in and see what the fuck is up. And I was talking with one of the guys that I work with. He was an AO in the Navy, aviation ordnance, and
Yes.
uh, I was talking about like, hey, also like do the range days where basically take out all the guns that I've either bought or built and everything like that, have them out there. Basically, you just pay an entrance fee and everything like that, and you can go up and shoot guns, get some pretty cheap priced barbecue because we'd go out and shoot something on the property and bring it back and make whatever. And No, do that.
Oh
Basically,
yeah.
yeah, basically, like do like a community day, everything like that. Let people, give people a chance to shoot a gun that they've never had a chance to shoot in their life if they want to experience full autos, experience some of the bigger guns that are usually you know cost your soul and your firstborn to shoot. But
Like a Gao 19?
yes, dude. Oh, but and then basically whatever food is left over, donate it to uh fish and game for them to donate to basically to bring to families in need. Like if we cooked it, basically it's hot, ready, they can immediately take it to like the soup kitchens in the area, or if it's like uncooked stuff, they could take it to like the grocery stores or donate it directly to the families in need that they have lists of, because that's what they do a lot with the seized meats and everything like that. Is they actually donate it to families in need, at least down here in Texas.
I didn't know they could do that with game
Yep.
meat because I know you can't sell game meat.
You can if it is for the wholesale butcher shops.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I know that's the thing with like if you go online and you like type in like elk meat for sale or bison meat for sale, the elk meat is all farmed from New Zealand and the bison is all farmed and some of it's not even bison, some of it's beef bison
which is
hybrid.
fucking stupid. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I think the biggest thing is because FDA, because it's they're like, oh well, it's not controlled. That's kind of the fucking point, because we don't want all the hormones and shit in it. That's why the families that eat wild game year round are usually some of the best healthy in shape people out there.
That's actually not the reason for that law. I don't think it was an FDA law. So it was from the time of westward expansion and like people taking railroads everywhere across the country and they were just shooting the giant herds of buffalo from the
Yeah,
railroads or like while on the railroad car and then somebody would come along and pick them up and sell it.
that's like, I can understand having it banned when it's outside of the season, or like when it's like leading up to the season, but like like during and for like a few months after the season, like basically for like any leftovers that you have, as long as it was stored properly and everything like that, I could understand being allowed to sell it during that time. But like year round, I can understand why it would be illegal. But at the same time, though, like, because I'm also going to be I'm going to work with I at least want to work with the fishing game in the area wherever I set up, and be like, hey, also like, because my biggest thing is like, I've been one of those families in need in the past, and like growing up, my dad poached a lot just so we could eat.
Mhm.
And for situations like that, I am okay with somebody shooting hunting outside of the regular season, because if you need to eat and that's the only way you can do it, I'm 100% fine with that. But the folks who just hunt out of season just to hunt out of season, now fuck you.
I mean, I don't see a flaw in that logic.
Yeah. So like, one thing I want to do is I want to work with Fish and Game in my area and be like, hey, because I know that there are those families in need where like they can't even afford to go to the pantries to get food at like the super fucking discounts, and a lot of times they can't even get into the soup kitchens to get free food. I want to at least help every now and then if I can. Of basically we go out, we shoot like a deer out of season, quarter it out, give it to split the quarter between some families just to help them out and everything like that. And I that would be one thing I would like to do. And then one thing I also want to do is allow for those families in need that couldn't afford to pay to hunt on property like mine, even though I'm only charging. I was thinking of charging like 250 to 500 per person, compared to a lot of
Mhm.
places where you're charging like a few thousand to shoot a very specific animal. But like have them come out, basically like, hey, I'm sending you out with one of my guys. You guys are gonna go shoot something. You have the only thing is that for you to do this, you have to donate half of the animal to another family in need. That's all I'm asking. Like, and if you don't have a rifle, we'll supply you with a rifle. We'll supply you with the ammunition. So that basically in a way to give back to the community in a sense to help out. That's one of the things I'm wanting to do.
That would be pretty fucking awesome.
That, and then whenever I do donate stuff to Fish and Game, I already know that I'm going to have somebody keeping an eye on my property, damn near 24/7, making sure that nobody's poaching. Or if I catch somebody poaching on my property, they're going to be there already. got to game the
That is
got
a
to game the
plus.
system to help you out any way you can.
Yeah, yeah, no. I don't see a flaw in that logic.
And then especially also whenever I do like Veterans Day parties, Memorial Day, 4th of July, New Year, Halloween, stuff like that, invite the game wardens that are off duty to come out with their families, have them, basically have them have a good time. Same with my employees. Anyone that wants to come around for that, is going to be a thing. And it's not going to be one of those parties that you have to pay to get into. It's just like, if I tell you to leave, you got to fucking leave.
Ah. It's a what is it? It's not a right, it's a privilege to be here.
Exactly.
Yes. I was hoping I got those words right. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, but no, and and I also want to hire mainly vets. Specifically, I want to help out ones that just get out of the military to help them properly transition back into the civilian world. Because let's be honest, the first 2-ish years after we got out of the military, we were just sitting there like Ricky Bobby, like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Although that barrel's looking mighty tasty.
Um, I think it was closer to 5 years for me. I needed like because I had a 5-year contract, so it was like I think I needed that full time frame to like come up and then down, and like even then, I'm like, I think I'm only halfway better.
Oh, dude, like when you get out, like the one thing that you hear but you don't understand until it hits you is that loss of camaraderie.
Oh yeah.
Like even now, like I deal with that because like granted, I talk with you on we're always sending memes back and forth to each other on Instagram. I'm doing the same with Trip. I have other buddies and everything like that, but like I don't have anybody physically here to hang out with, and it's rough. So granted, I have my wife and my boys, and I love them, but sometimes I just want to be able to go out and hang out with somebody who I'm either not the father of, married to, or you know technically, legally a family of.
Yes. So I have one friend when I am back home who went to high school with him. He went in the Air Force, I went in the Marine Corps. And if you were to look at us, you'd be like, that's backwards. You're the one built like a brick shit house. What is this? Um, and he's a cool guy, but like when I'm home, we lift weights or go shooting, and it's like maybe half a morning, and then he has to get back to his life.
Yeah, no.
So it's just like I get to see one dude every once in a while, and my girlfriend knows it. She's like, Saturday, you're going to hang out with your boyfriend. I'm like, he's not my boyfriend. His name's Kyle.
Oh no. I've got two buddies of mine. One of them, he's the only person from my high school that I really keep in contact with. He went into the Marines and ironically got kicked out for fighting. Granted, it was a general discharge, but he got kicked out for fighting.
I don't understand that.
You'd think
You should only get kicked out for fighting if you
it.
lose.
Well, no, and here's the funny thing is that he got into a fight with a fucking officer who took off his collar devices. And the best part was the
That's,
officer swung first.
this is one of those problems with the military.
Yep. But
Guess whose side they're
yeah,
taking? The person who went to college.
which is fucking stupid.
Well, it's like we say in the air wing. It takes a college degree to fly him and a high school diploma to fix him. Who are you going to trust?
I'm trusting the guy who knows how to fucking fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's just like I love the fat electrician's take on it. It's like basically like in the US military, if you kill the fucking officer or whoever's in charge, you're basically taking away the speed limiter compared to any other fighting force where you just shut down the whole machine. For us, you're basically taking the limiter off and be like, all right, well, guess what? You're getting to learn that it's not a war crime the fucking first time, if they even learn about it in the first place.
That's assuming we know how to read and know memorize what war crimes are.
Exactly.
Yeah, then it's just like, well, that looks like a nice place to put a bomb,
it it
and you're
it
gonna die.
becomes a grunts and crafts project.
I like that one. That's a good one.
You can thank the fat electrician for that one.
Probably heard that. I just didn't remember it.
Yeah, but oh, speaking of which, I bought the War Crate. I got all 12 books from Trip. I mailed the first six.
Yes, I've seen that at the end of the videos for the chapters where it's like, thanks to the War Crate buyers. I'm like, yeah, I know that name.
But I took the first 6 books because I already had the first war chest. I took the one that came in the War Crate because I had Trip write a letter specifically to the fat electrician, put it in that one, and I mailed it to
Did you do we know anything
him.
yet? Or
Not
probably not.
yet.
He probably gets so much
I
shit.
did get a response from Eli Double Tap. I'm like, hey, can you ask Nick if he received the books that I mailed him? And he was like, yes, sir, I will do that. And he probably promptly forgot about it.
I imagine he is fairly busy.
Yeah. I mean, during one of the
Yeah.
Unsub podcasts, he talked about how like they're technically not making money from the podcast because all the money that they make from it goes back into it.
I can see that.
Yeah. Although, did you see how on Twitter I did the communism, communism, communism at the fat electrician, and he responded, "Just stop it." And the best part is, I found out I was the first one to do that on Twitter. Yes,
Nice.
I thought about. It, I was like, I could probably get him to respond by doing this.
It's fantastic.
And I checked because I checked his replies. I'm the only one that he replied to something like that, and I'm the only one that I've seen at least. It was
What else could we get him?
aside from going to San Antonio and finding out like by doxing where the fucking unsub house is. Like that would be the only way that
Oh, I think the way to do this, we got to go through King Trout. We got to use the Midwest because you're from the Midwest. King
and
Trout
we
is from
both
the
now live in
Midwest.
Texas.
Shit, he's out of
Yeah, he
Indiana?
lives in Texas now. He moved to Texas.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah. The thing is, I've tried getting him to respond to anything. He doesn't respond.
I can see that.
We might need your animal
I
magnetism to
mean,
get him
what
to respond.
that's,
That's going the nuclear
I don't
option.
know if it's animal magnets.
That granted, yes, that is the nuclear option, but we might be at that point because
Well, I am wearing 5-inch Zero Foxtrots shorts right now, so as long as he's into legs.
which apparently he is. If
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna have to like
if you
show
had a silk
the
if you
quads.
had a silk kimono like robe to go with it, you'd probably get on his good side even more.
So what I'm gonna do is my girlfriend's really into thrifting.
You're gonna have her find one.
I'm gonna tell her that that's I'm gonna have her find. So I travel around for
Yeah.
work, random work trips. She'll be like, "I want to go there." Like, it's really interesting that you want to come to this weird place with me, like Alaska. I'm like, come here. She's like, hell yeah, I want to go to Alaska because who often gets that chance? And so it was great, but she's just like, all right, let's go thrifting. I'm like, excuse me, what? She's like, there's got to be like great outdoor clothes here. She was right.
Oh yeah, dude, no, it
I'm
makes
like,
sense. Like, I'm sorry, but like if I ever go to like a small town like Alaska or Montana or Wyoming, one of the first fucking places I'm hitting is a fucking thrift store because I know for a fact I could get some fantastic fucking outdoor pants and boots and a jacket for next to fucking nothing.
It's not 100% because like we hit up, she'll want to, she like researches them all and she'll find them all. She'll be like, we're here, 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 and here this day. We'll go here, 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 and here this way. And then like Goodwill has sales on this day on these things. And it's just like, oh, fuck. Like, you know a lot about this. Like, she found a fuck ton of stuff for ladies. For dudes, I found like 3 things at one Salvation Army.
But
And like
that's
it was
all
like a
we fucking
marmot,
need though. That's all
fleecious.
we fucking need though.
I know. There was one fleece like zip up thing, and I'm like, I already got one by Patagonia, but whatever. It's like less than $6. And then it's like 2 other things where it's just like, sweet.
Oh yeah, dude. No, and the thing is that like we're guys. We can take fucking 6 items of clothing and make like 26 different fucking outfits. Granted, yes, sometimes it's just turning one of the items inside out, but still.
Ooh, I also found, you know, the army like waffle tops, like thermal
Yes,
things? Found like a fuckload of those by Fort Bragg once.
makes sense, especially from the guys getting out or the guys who are just selling it for extra
Yeah.
beer money.
Well, I mean, it was the Salvation Army, so they had to have just given it to him. I'm like, who just gives these away?
I mean, it could it
Still, I
could
was
have
just like,
been
this is
it could
perfect.
have been whenever they did the fucking uniform change, and the military probably just
Mm,
donated them.
I didn't even think of that.
Oh yeah, because I heard that whenever the Navy swapped over from the blue camis to the green camis, how basically all of the parka liners, the parkas, and everything like that, all the stuff that was the blue digicami, got donated like instantly. Because whenever it became, hey, you can't wear this uniform anymore, what was the
What's
yeah,
the point in
what was the
having them?
next gonna do?
Yeah. I always wondered why that blue camouflage one was a thing. It's like, yeah, great. It's going to be camouflage, so we can't see you in the water if you fall in.
Exactly. Oh, dude, no, like the fucking coveralls are the ones we got from boot camp were light blue, and then they switched over to a dark blue that was also fire retardant. And
Kind of like a flight
uh,
suit.
kind of, but it's literally just like plumber coveralls.
We had those, but they were green for
Yeah.
maintenance.
But and you know how that they're fire retardant, as were the camis, technically.
Retardant.
Yeah. It just means, oh hey, yeah, it's gonna protect you from the fire like 30 seconds longer than a regular pair of clothes.
What they told us is that uh, so this will melt to your skin instead of burning off your skin, so they can peel it off of you once it's burned to you. And I'm like, wouldn't I want it to just burn off of me instead of getting peeled off of me later?
Yeah, because you'd think you're like, well, if it's burning off of me, I could tear it off quicker and not have it, stick to everything. Because
Well, what my thought was is I don't think it's going to matter if jet fuel's on fire.
exactly.
But apparently jet fuel is harder than diesel to light on fire.
Unless you have static
Unless
electricity.
you still have to compress it. Like there was a fuel spill one day in the hangar of my like the aircraft hangar. Like I had to go clean it up because I was on the hazardous
Yeah.
response crew, whatever thing. And like it's just like throwing down the fucking matting and then picking it up and putting it into bags. But like it was my first time doing it. My staff sergeant's like, "It's fine. It's not going to light on fire. You have nothing to worry about." I'm like, "Oh crap!" And he literally took a Zippo, lit it, and threw it at the puddle. And he's just like, "It's not going to light." I'm like,
No, it's like the I saw this fucking meme of basically this old man, this lady was or this person took a picture of this old man who was filling up a fucking gas can full of diesel with a lit cigarette in his mouth, and this lady starts fucking screaming at him, and he goes, "Shut the fuck up, it's diesel."
Uh, it is. Diesel's
Oh, dude,
fantastic.
I eventually do want to get one of those older diesel trucks, even like, dude, even if it's a fucking deuce and a half, to where I could run that thing on fucking fryer oil.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then, dude, like
Yeah.
people are gonna be complaining like, oh no, that's bad for the environment. As I'm driving down the road and making the fucking area smell like French fries.
Why does it smell like fried chicken every time that deuce and a half drives by?
Little do they know I am taking away the grease from fucking KFC and churches because I'm like, hey, I'll take it for free, so you guys will have to pay to get it disposed of. They're like, fuck it, take it.
Fuck, there's tons of restaurants that do that because there's
Yeah, they have to fucking
like up by
yeah, they have to pay to get it disposed of properly.
oh, Buffalo Biodiesel will just come pick it up and fucking convert it to
Yeah,
diesel. But like they put out like a full on like it looks like a
yeah,
dumpster, but it's a
yeah.
fryer
It's a
oil thing.
dumpster and it has a spigot down on the bottom, like on the front of it.
Yeah, I'm basically and like, but they just like come pick it up, swap it out, and like give you another one. But like they take that one back to Buffalo, they fucking refine it into diesel,
Yeah,
and it's always hilarious because like they put out a decent amount because with all there is in the area for like places frying things, chicken wings. And I remember reading one time that like wasn't Reba McIntyre, but it was some other like country artist who's like into the environment, and like she bought all of the biodiesel off of them, so they didn't have any for like 2 weeks because she wanted to be friendly to the environment, and she just bought it all out
not realizing that it
and
is
like brought it
being
with her for the
and
rest of the
not
trip.
realizing that it is actually being friendly to the environment for using it.
Oh, no, she knew exactly what she was doing. She just wanted it so she could, like, claim it was, like, a green tour or, like, I don't know
The
what the
fact,
fuck
I
it
mean,
was.
in all honesty, she was actually doing it right too, because not only one was she supporting a small business, but two, she was actually burning something that burned cleaner than regular fucking diesel.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember reading that once, and I'm like, "Mm, good for her," but, like, I honestly couldn't tell you, like, where I could even fucking buy the stuff around me.
Yeah,
I'm like, "I know they do something with it. I don't know where it goes."
you're just like I'm interested. It's just I don't know how to buy.
1, I don't know how to buy. 2, at this very moment, diesel is $4.50 a gallon in the state of New York.
Which is fucking
If
ridiculous.
I drive Yeah, if I drive 30 minutes to the Indian reservation, it's $1 off. And at 30-gallon tank, $30 off a tank of gas is fucking
Yeah,
something. It's like,
yeah. No, like
mm,
I wish I had bought a diesel, but I have a fucking 2020 Bighorn and it's a 1500, but I didn't get the diesel one because it was more expensive to buy the diesel than the regular one.
oh
But
yeah.
I pay for the premium gas because I at first I thought it was just a scam until I started using it. And I was like, no, I am actually getting better gas mileage out of buying premium than regular unleaded.
What you should look into is see if it's cheaper for you to just get 87 or 89 and then just put in a thing of octane booster for a tank.
I have found that the difference between 87 to 89 is negligible.
No, no, buy 87 or 89 and then put in the octane booster.
No, I've tried that and it's literally negligible between the two of them. Yeah.
Really?
Now,
Hmm.
what I'm probably gonna do though is because I like the it is like a vastly different fucking thing. So like, if I got the 87 or the 89 fill up the tank, my tank is empty like a day and a half, 2 days later. But if I get the fucking premium, which is the what 93,
91 or 93, depending on your
yeah.
gas station.
Um,
There's both.
but I notice that I am going like 4 to 5 days without needing to fill up.
Huh.
So if I get the octane booster to throw it into that one, big brain moves.
Brain move. Are you running fuel injector cleaners?
Every now and then, yes, I do need to fucking actually do that again here soon. Now that you mentioned it.
So I just bought a used diesel, 2015 uh, Chevy 2500, and like I bought it here in Alaska because I told you about how I was like helping my brother who just
Yeah,
retired from the army move back to Tennessee. So I went on that insane fucking 2 week road trip,
which was probably fucking
and
beautiful.
it was for the first half, and then you hit Saskatchewan, and Saskatchewan is Iowa
Yeah.
North, and like I saw a geography thing recently. It's Geography by Jeff. It's the name of the channel on YouTube, and it's like 0.02% of Canada's population lives in like Saskatchewan, Manitoba. It's fucking empty. Like you're just like, holy shit, this is flat. There is so much fucking grain here. Like, and you just go for like hours and you're just like, where the fuck is the next gas station?
And then you're like past the empty point, you're like on the fumes, and then you see that gas station, and you may or may not have to push the last like 200 yards.
So like I had my truck that I bought. My brother's got a Ram 2500, also diesel, and he's pulling two horses in a horse trailer, like fucking 8,000 pounds ish. I'm pulling his RV 12, 13,000 pounds ish. So like I'm fucking drinking gas faster than he does. But we got four diesel cans in the back of my truck. So we got an extra 20 gallons just in case. And like, he's like, all right, the game plan is until we get back into America, when you get down to half a tank, that's when you start looking for a gas station. I'm like, okay,
Did you see that happen too?
I did.
Yeah, it just crashed out of fucking nowhere. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, basically you had the extra 20 gallons of diesel in the back of your truck.
I had to dip into it once.
How much of it?
I just grabbed one 5 gallon can and just poured it in because I'm like we found a gas station, but it was a fleet service fucking gas station.
Oh
So it would only take
no!
fleet cards for diesel rigs. And I'm like, what in the hell?
Yeah, dude, no, like that shit's fucking annoying when you run into those because I ran into a few of those whenever I was on my drive from San Diego to Illinois after I got out of
Yeah.
the Navy, and we were fucking hurting, and like it was literally the only gas station in the area. God damn, what the fuck is up with? I don't know what the hell's going on right now with this shit, but anyway, so yeah, we're there, and like there was not another gas station for like another 50 fucking miles, and I did not have the fucking fuel to make it another 50 miles. And they're like, "Hey, yeah, this is only a fleet gas station," and I was just like, "Please, we don't have a fleet card. We are literally on our drive after getting out of the military." And the best part was that the owner of that gas station happened to be there, and he looked at the lady, goes, "Hey, fill them up, don't charge them." That was the fucking. I was just like, oh my dude, when you run into it and it's a fleet gas station, that is a fucking nightmare. Especially when you're
Oh
hurting
yeah.
for fucking fuel.
Yep.
Yeah, because
But
I
I
if I,
mean, that
I
was weird. This is like, rolling into that in like random Saskatchewan, where it's the only gas station for like probably 30 minutes in any fucking direction. We went down the road 30 more minutes, found a gas station. Yeah, we're fine after that. But so Alaska, state of Alaska, weed's legal here. Um, Canada, the entire fucking nation, weed's legal there. So when you cross into Canada, like the only thing they care about is one, are you trying to haul in wood because we don't want like cross contamination of anything like that? And
yeah.
two, do you have any fucking weed on you? It's like, but weed's legal. They want to tax it. That's why. So like when you cross into Canada, it's just like that's all they're looking for. So then we crossed back
Oh,
into America in
and
North
pistol
Dakota.
caliber and pistol calibers.
They didn't
Because
ask that to me or my
pist.
brother.
Well, here's the thing: if they ever searched your fucking vehicle and everything like that, they found any pistol calibers, even 22 long rifles, you guys would be in a shit ton of trouble.
Mhm. But I think what we had going for us is, like, my brother had military orders to, like, cross, and it's just like, "Yeah, we're just going back to America," like, but also, like, the majority of his stuff was, what is it, a PCS move?
Yeah,
Yeah, so, like, the majority of the stuff was, like, taken in that and shipped back. So we had, like, what we personally needed for a few days,
yeah,
which was, like, random stuff,
yeah.
mostly food from Costco.
Oh, dude, fucking. My biggest thing here now is the fact that I have my Texas license to carry, which it's granted it's not needed in Texas anymore, but it's nice to have because it allows me to bypass the whole waiting period for my pistols. With that, I can go in, be like, "Hey, I want that pistol," and then like, "Okay, well," and then I hand them my license to carry. Then it's instead of the 3-day waiting period, I pay them, I take my gun, I leave.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, but the biggest thing is that like I also have that for like whenever I'm traveling because most of the time I'm going to be going to a state where they recognize my license to carry in Texas. Illinois does not recognize any other state's license concealed carry permits, just like California.
New York's the same
Washington,
way.
yeah, I think Washington is hit or miss with some states. But one of my favorite memes that I've said was like, every state you can still carry if you're not a pussy. Because here's the thing:
Oh, yeah.
if you were concealed carrying properly, and as long as you don't go into a building that has a metal detector, how are they going to know?
Great question.
Exactly. Like if you are concealed carrying properly, no one's going to know. And
Yeah.
that goes by the saying, it's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Yes. Unless you're in New York where it doesn't matter. You're
If
just
you're in New
going
York,
down.
if you're in New York or California or Hawaii,
New York is weird in that it depends on your county, though. So will not my DA and sheriff will not go after you for New York state gun law things, but you can still get hammered by the state police for it.
which is
And
fucking
so then it
stupid.
becomes, yeah. So then it becomes how much the state police are going to be dicks about it. Um, and what county are they going to charge you in?
Well, it also depends on also after the whole thing with the New York Pistol Rifle Association v. Dettelbach a few years ago.
I remember that
Yeah, like that
because it's like,
affected you
great,
big
we
time,
won.
didn't it?
It's like, great, we won. It's like, cool. We're changing everything overnight. It's just like,
Even though the Supreme Court has already ruled that any of those changes are actually illegal. So there's a whole fucking case against that currently still going through the Supreme Court, just like the one here in Texas with the uh, made in Texas suppressor thing. Uh, that is went from the federal court here in Texas to the appeals court. So I think there's one more stage with the courts before it goes to the Supreme Court.
mm,
Which, if that's the case, it could also be like a lot of people were trying to say is that like yes, the suppressor law here in Texas for basically if it's made in Texas, fucking should be legal without a fucking the background check and everything like that for it. But the one thing I kept saying is that like a lot of people didn't realize is that that fight right there has the fucking grounds of removing the NFA and the GCA, which is fucking huge. Which for those who don't know, the NFA and the GCA are basically the things that the government has in place that basically make it to where you can't buy any modern like made full auto firearms that were made after the GCA was put into place. And the NFA is also what controls, like suppressors and other fucking shit on top of that, accessories that
short barrel rifles, small
short,
barrel
yeah,
rifles.
short barreled rifles, stuff like that, sawed off shotguns, fucking pistols that have a fucking buttstock on them, shit like that. It all of that stuff that affects that, and as well as like import laws too with firearms, and also makes it to where you would no longer need an FFL for doing a lot of shit. Because here's the dumbest thing: say that you and I didn't know each other, right, Steve? And you came through and you wanted to get your gun professionally cleaned by me. I could not charge you without having an FFL to clean your gun.
Okay.
That is the dumbest fucking thing ever. To literally just disassemble, clean it properly, maybe even put it into one of the fucking carbon busting baths, and to then just put it right back together as is. Without an FFL, I could not charge you for that. Technically, I could get thrown in prison for doing that, even if I didn't charge you.
Seriously, even if you didn't charge me?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, that does seem weird.
yeah. And here's the dumb thing: is that some Democrats in Congress are trying to make it to where you need an FFL to even disassemble and clean your own gun.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
To disassemble my own rifle,
or
I
pistol.
need an FFL.
Gun. They're trying to say that you need an FFL to do that.
Good luck, buddy, proving that I did.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like one of the big things that I've been wanting to get from my shop, mainly because of the NFA and the GCA, is whenever I'm able to get it started up, is I want to get the licenses that basically cover me making, manufacturing, basically, and owning basically whatever the fuck I want, and importing whatever the fuck I want. So for that, I was going to need my Type 1, my Type 8, my Type 10, and my Type 11 FFLs, and then get my Class 3 SOT, which covers everything else that's not covered by the FFLs. The the SOTs cover basically NFA controlled items. So suppressors, full autos, SBRs, and then the Type 11 allows me for doing importing.
See, that's the thing I want to move out of New York State the biggest for is just a suppressor.
Yeah, just
Literally, all I have to do is it's like 5 miles. I'm in Pennsylvania, and it's just like, oh wow, it's so much freer here.
oh, dude, fucking going from Illinois to Texas was just different. Aside from the fucking heat, but I was like, wait, I have more gun freedoms here. Yay! because
So,
in Illinois they have this fucking thing called a FOID card, your firearm ownership ID card. You have to pay the state a fee to exercise your Second Amendment rights in the state of Illinois.
that should not be illegal.
They are currently in the process of filing a class action lawsuit against the state of Illinois for it because it is by definition infringing on the Second Amendment.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so like part of the thing with New York State changing all the fucking laws after the
Tax
Supreme
to be
Court
the,
ID thing,
yeah, yeah.
like background checks on buying ammunition now. That's like the big lawsuit that they're bringing up to the fucking thing. It's like, what?
And we are like,
So,
oh no, it's not like I can't go to Vermont or Pennsylvania or West Virginia and just buy ammo and come back.
well, that is the weird thing is that like that's what you see around like the edges of the state. So like around the border near New York and
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. I can't speak on up by like Vermont or Vermont. I could see it being like
New
that, but
Hampshire.
probably not Massachusetts. Well, we don't share a border with with New Hampshire. We
Oh
share it
yeah.
with Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania.
And then
So like
depending
over
on
by me,
how far west you are by Pennsylvania, it's also you got Ohio and fucking West Virginia just a little bit farther south.
as we're just going to Pennsylvania because crossing from New York to get to Ohio, you still got to go through that small patch of Pennsylvania that touches Lake Erie.
or take a
I
ferry.
mean, I guess, but I mean, most people feel the same way about Ohio as they do anywhere else in the nation about Ohio. It's like,
Ohio
why would I
isn't
go to
real.
Ohio?
Ohio isn't real.
Ohio is a speed trap.
Dude, no, fuck. Speaking of speed traps, what state is it where it's called the $1 million mile, where it basically they hit like over like a mile strip, and they just constantly are hitting people with fucking speeding tickets because it changes the speed limit so many fucking times over these fucking areas, and I can't remember. I think it's in Virginia or Pennsylvania. I can't remember which.
I'm not sure exactly, but it sounds like an Ohio move.
Well, it's not Ohio. It's actually one of the fucking 13 colony state things.
Yeah, shit, I don't know then. I
Yeah.
know I got pulled over in Ohio last summer. I think it was late spring or early summer this year, and I was not speeding, but they pulled me over for following too close. And I'm like, "What?" I mean, they were nice to me. They like I was in a company truck and then they fucking searched the vehicle because the company truck has different plates than the state that I was in than what my driver's license said. And they're like, "This looks kind of shady." I'm like, "Whatever, it's a company vehicle. Go right ahead. You're just gonna find a bunch of tools." That's all they found. And yeah. Apparently, in Ohio, at the speed limit of 70, at 70 miles per hour, you're supposed to be 8 vehicle lengths behind the vehicle in front of you. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, they must have just chose me because, like, literally everyone was like probably a fucking car behind everyone. And I'm just like, you literally just chose me because I had out of state plates.
Yeah,
Fucking
no,
bastards.
it's fucking stupid.
Well, let me go with a warning. And I'm like, well, I learned something new today. Don't fucking follow closely in Ohio and you won't get pulled over.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking stupid. But yeah, no. Whenever I can find it, it's on the YouTube channel of VinWiki, where they talk about it. There's a fucking highway somewhere on the East Coast where basically between two different like half-mile stretches of the same highway, the speed limit changes so many fucking times that the cops literally just sit there and just are ticketing people every like 5 minutes.
It's one way to get revenue.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
Maybe
I
it's
can't
New
remember what.
Jersey.
No, no, it's not New Jersey. It's in either Pennsylvania or Virginia. But it's a reason why that area so many people are driving on suspended licenses is because they physically can't afford to take time off from work to go to court to get their fucking licenses back.
That's just
Well, that's what happens whenever you have fucking police departments that have their quotas that they have to meet. Apparently, Texas made ticket quotas illegal.
good for them.
Yeah, so it's super fucking nice because that means that you have less of a chance of getting pulled over for going like 5 to 10 miles over the fucking speed limit down here.
Yeah, most judges in my county won't even fucking look at anything that's under 7 miles per hour over.
They're like, "Why the fuck are you bringing this here?" Dismissed.
Pretty much, they're just like, "This isn't even worth my time, just go away with it." Like, until it's 8 miles per hour and above over the speed limit, they're just like, "I don't even care."
Dude, no, it. I got pulled over once down here, and it was at like 5 o'clock in the fucking morning as I was on my way to go work at the Hidalgo Port of Entry whenever I was working for that security company that I worked for. I was going 75 into 70. And as I'm going down the highway, there was a fucking a state trooper sitting in the middle of the on ramp, just sitting there. And he said that he hit me with his rear facing radar when there was a fucking Mustang tearing ass going in the opposite direction. And granted, I drive a bright red truck. So I'm going 75. He pulls up behind me. I move over to the next lane over. He follows and hits his lights and pulls me over. And then he's like, pulls me over and he goes, "You know why I pulled you over?" I'm like, "No." And he goes, "I got you going 81." I'm like, "No, there's no way I was going 81. I had my fucking cruise control set." And he goes, "No." And then he tried saying I said I was going 69. I was like, "Dude, I did not say I was going 69. You're putting fucking words in my mouth." And then he goes, "Well, where are you going to?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm going to work. I work security at the Hidalgo Port of Entry." I was in my fucking uniform with my duty belt next to me in my passenger seat. Like, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Yeah, because when I handed him my license and my fucking license to carry and everything like that, and he goes, "Do you have any weapons in the vehicle?" I'm like, "My duty belt right there." Fucking, he gave me a warning and everything. I'm like, dude, no. Uh, it was a dude. There was like one other fucking car on the road with me. So even if I was speeding, the only person I would have hurt was myself.
Oh yeah.
It was the
It's
dumbest.
fantastic when they played no, they played dumb on purpose to try and trip you up, to, like, see if, like, you'll fuck up.
Yeah,
It's a tactic that they use, like, basically to get you, like, if you're not in, like, a good state of mind, you'll mess up, like, those easy questions that they ask you repetitively and in slightly different ways. Y You'll just, like, mess it up if you're not if you're, like, sleepy, but if you're, like, on
tired.
something, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if
Not
you're
really.
drunk or something like that. But
Pretty
like,
much.
like you'd think like when he comes up there and sees that I'm in uniform with a fucking bulletproof vest on underneath my shirt with my little fucking company's badge on my fucking chest with a duty belt in my passenger seat. You'd think, I should probably leave this guy alone and just give him a verbal. No, he printed off and gave me a physical fucking warning.
I've never gotten a physical warning, I've just gotten verbal ones. I
Yeah,
didn't know that was a thing.
yeah, no. And I later found out that that guy was fresh out of the fucking academy. And the way that I
No.
found out was because I ran into him and one of his higher ups who was friends with my father-in-law when we were at something and we were talking. I was like, "Oh, you're the guy that pulled me over the other day whenever I was trying to say I was going 80 into 70." He goes, "No, that was." I'm like, "No, that's you because I recognize your face because you're also the one that was sitting in the middle of the on ramp." And his fucking I think it was his sergeant who was friends with my father-in-law went and he goes, "Really?" He goes, and he has me explain. I'm like, "Oh yeah, dude, it was like fucking like 5 o'clock in the fucking morning, like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, outside of the fucking town right over here next to the one I'm in, and I was going like at most 5 miles over the speed limit, and it was myself and one other car who was in the far right lane, like a good like 6 cars ahead of me. They were pulling away from me, and there was a car that was screaming in the opposite direction, and he pulled me over. He looked at me and goes, "Dude, what did I tell you? We do not have quotas. Why the fuck at that time of day would you pull somebody over for even the thought of speeding, as long as they weren't fucking driving it recklessly?" He goes, "Oh, well," he goes, "Dude, no." And apparently he got in real big trouble for that.
Mm.
Yeah, like when I say
Fuck.
that the dude was fresh out of the fucking, he still had the fucking high and tight haircut. Like the one that you normally see of like, fuck, I'm gonna get a ticket haircut.
Mm.
Yeah.
So there's a cop in my town that also owns the tree trimming business, so he's not hurting for money. And like some people
Chillest
hate him because
motherfucker.
like he's not hurting for money, but he still has a fucking job as a cop. And like some people are just like, what are you talking about? He's great because like he doesn't care and like he'll just go play basketball with the underprivileged kids in uniform.
Yeah,
It's just
dude.
like
Like so
good for him.
he is the chillest fucking cop ever.
He lives across the street from my buddy too. So like they go shooting and he's just like, dude, like the town rifle range for cops is like the old quarry and like it's theirs. You can't just go there and go shooting unless you're a cop. He's like, dude, it's fucking awesome to shoot there. You go deaf, but it's great. And I'm like,
Oh yeah, dude.
damn it.
Dude, shooting at a quarry is fantastic. Granted, the fucking sound is even with muffs on, you're gonna go deaf.
Mhm. But I'm like, that sounds like so much fun. It's like, how do you know you're not going to get in trouble shooting today? Because I was with the cops.
Yeah, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know in situations like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Fuck it. Here, let me see if I can get it running. I'm gonna see if I can do a share screen.
You've done it before.
Yes, application window. No. Here we go. Screen one. Or here, I'll do screen two, so that way I can fucking do this. Okay. I'm gonna have to get pulled over here. Let's go. Okay. So this is how I'm planning on having my fucking range set up eventually. So I'm just gonna do a basic drawing for the building right over here. So this is gonna be the main building, right? And then have
You
a
are not showing the fucking drawing area on your thing.
how do I
You might need to like, I don't know, center
there
the
we go.
screen
Is that
somehow.
better? You see it now?
Oh, there we go. Yep. Okay.
Okay, so here's the building, right? So
See it?
I'm plan
Yes.
I'm planning on having
Very
like a
Waco.
yeah. Very Waco, yes. But and then planning on having like a 25-yard pistol range, maybe up to 30-yard for like regular rifles. Have a hunt, so it's not going to be like that size comparison. So this would be fuck whatever. Have a 100-yard rifle
Peaceful.
range. So you have a 100-yard rifle range right here, and then
Yes.
have an area like somewhere off in this direction, and have two separate kill houses, but with like a
Ooh.
berm in the center, and then one would be for live rounds, one would be for sim rounds. The sim rounds would be the one that's farther away from the others.
Yeah.
But yeah, then have but they'd also be like down in like a fucking like a hole in the ground where you could
Nice.
actually but like an area to walk around. None of the targets would be up top where basically you'd only be shooting like horizontally with it. But yeah, have one for sim rounds, one for live rounds. But then every once in a while run fucking like paintball or airsoft things in each of the kill houses.
Oh, that would be fun.
Dude, right? But yeah, like have the I'd actually probably go farther than 100 yard. 100 yards. I'd probably if I can try to go to like 1,000 yard range
You know
for
why
the
the
long range
paintball
one,
thing would be fun?
huh?
Do you know why the paintball thing would be fun?
Because you'd have to be doing room clearing.
One, you'd have to be doing room clearing, but you could advertise it out to like women that just got married or divorced or whatever who want to play a game of wreck the dress.
Yes.
Like my ex-wife was actually like right after we got married, she was just like, I think I know what I want to do to the dress. I'm like, huh? Because I didn't realize like, what do you do with it when you're done with it? Like, You use
Yeah.
it for a day, and then it's just like it's fucking
That
useless
that's
unless you can
why
find
that's
someone your
why
exact same size who wants that exact dress. She's like,
that's
"We're gonna have to
why
play wreck the dress in paintball." I'm like, "What? That
yeah,
sounds
no, that's
amazing. I'd love to
that
shoot you."
that's why the market for fucking wedding dresses and tuxedos should be swapped. The wedding dresses should be rented out and the tuxedo should be owned.
'Cause I can use the tuxedo more than once.
Exactly. But
This
yeah,
is true.
but yeah, I'd probably have the long range one set up for like 1,000 yards, just for like because most of the time you're going to be shooting outside of 100 yards anyway, especially for hunting.
100 yards is only for zeroing in like longer range rifles. But
Yeah,
then you still gotta sight it in for beyond.
however far else, yeah. But yeah, if I can have it set up for 1,000 yard range, have it where you're sitting up probably like in a tower for like the far end of it, and then have a shorter area for probably like for like 500 to 750 plus, would be like a little bit lower on the tower, but then for like 500 up this way, you're just shooting ground level.
So a guy that I used to work with, he was a welder at my company here, and he lives, let's say, Flathead Valley, Montana. And the rifle range he goes to is uh, about, I think it's over a kilometer, but it ends on the side of a mountain, and there's a big steel, um, like buffalo, like laser cut out of a
Yeah.
buffalo, like a big piece of fucking steel. And he regularly sends me videos of pinging steel on this thing from over a kilometer away. And it's really fun because he's got like, he is
He's got the fun
down the
toys.
fucking, he's down the rabbit hole on everything gun related. Um,
He has gone down the
and he,
guntism hole.
oh yeah, and like he was never in the military, but he just fucking loves guns, and he lives in a place where you can just do that. And I think it was his 338, the video he sent me of where it's wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, ting. And I'm like, I can hear the ting on your little fucking cell phone video camera you sent me. He's like, oh, it's great, isn't it? I'm like, oh,
Oh
it's
yeah.
fantastic.
Oh, dude, fucking so the first time I got to shoot the killer tomato on a ship, you know the one I'm talking
Uh,
about, right? And
nope.
we were shooting it the big orange square balloon that we send out on the water for doing the 50 cal and 25 millimeter, or the 240 gun shoots on the ships.
Okay. So it just looks
Uh
like a big buoy thing.
no, it is it's like 100 by 100 fucking big square orange balloon. That Yeah, we fill it up with air, tie it off, and tie stuff to basically keep it so it's not skating across the fucking water. We have
Look
to weigh
this
it
up.
down. Yeah, but the
Keep
first
talking. I'm
time,
listening. I'm just looking
yeah.
this up.
So the first time I got to shoot at one of those things was with the 240, and it was my first time getting to shoot the 240. And the chief that we had that was in charge, who was our cruiser weapons instructor, looked at me. He was like, "Hey, I want you to fucking send it." I was like, "All right, chief." Fucking go there instead of delinking to do the normal courses of fire with it. I just linked it all, put it on there, and I just went and just sent it with the 240. And I was like halfway through the group, and they had to speed through it because I felt that balloon with so many fucking holes, it was losing air very fucking quickly.
Nice.
Dude, it was hilarious. And the best part was that chief looked at my chief. Yes, that.
Looks like so much fun.
Dude, it is.
U.S. Navy deploys giant killer tomato target during scary exercise at sea. What?
But yeah, so you see that one right there at the bottom of the U.S. Navy scroll the U.S. Navy warship gunnery chute live fire at Killer Tomato.
Yes.
So you see that same gun that it had there on the fucking beginning part of it.
Yes, let's watch this. Ah, no. Care about your fire torch lighter. I want to see this. Ooh.
But yeah, so yeah, with that, that's a 25 millimeter. That's the Bushmaster Mark 32. But
Oh,
but yeah, so it was hilarious because but anyway, that chief was looking at mine because my chief had been talking a lot of shit about me, and he looked and he
right.
goes, I heard him saying, I'm like, hey chief, we have our gunner.
Yes.
But the funniest thing ever was
Anticipation.
whenever I was on my first ship, the one thing I wanted to go do was the Navy's designated marksman school, and my chief kept saying, "Oh, you have to shoot basically fucking perfect on fucking shooting quals, yada yada yada," and I'm like, okay, so I hadn't had a chance to do my first gun shoot yet, so I do my first gun shoot, I shoot better than everybody on the ship. I'm I'm literally like a few points away from a fucking perfect. And then
Fuck yeah.
I go and I'm like, all right, hey, I did what you said I needed to do. I want to go do this designated marksman school because technically you have to have a designated marksman on the ship. You have to have at least one. No one on the ship was sent to the school. Then he tried saying, "Oh well, you actually need to be a second class to go do that." And I was just like, "What the fuck?" I looked it up. I was like, "No, actually, you don't. You just have to have qualifying scores. I have qualifying scores, as does this other guy. They wouldn't send either of us, and the other guy was a second class or an E5. It was so fucking
Right.
stupid.
Mm. Yeah, that's because they wouldn't have the people, and then they probably also don't have the budget.
Oh no, no, they had the budget. It's just they were wanting to use it for other stupid shit.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. They also, like, not they, but my unit, um, one of the things for aircraft is painting aircraft. You have to paint over repairs, things like that, new sealant, stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's an easy 2-week course, and I was painting aircraft illegally for about 3 years before they sent me, and I was like the first person they sent in over 3 years. But painting, like you, I could probably show you how to use a fucking air-powered paint gun, HVLP or gravity fed in 20 minutes. But this was a 2-week course.
dude, I could. Uh, Here's the thing, I on my first ship, I was told, "Hey, you're going to be doing repainting our ladder well area, basically going up to the 76 millimeter passageway, that passageway, and the door to our torpedo mag." I was like, "Okay, easy enough." And then they're like, "All right, yeah, we're gonna have you be doing this for a week." I was like, "Okay," and I looked at my first class, and I was like, "Hey, GM1?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, no one told Chief that my grandfather used to own a carpentry company, and I did a lot of painting. Did you? And my first class looks at me. He goes, I didn't even know that. I'm like, I'm gonna have this done in like 2 fucking nights. He goes, no fucking way. I was like, if I finish it in 2 nights, I get the rest of the time off. He goes, deal. Night and a half later, I'm done. All right, hold up, you froze on me.
I don't know what happened. I just glitched out.
Yeah, I know. You have two screens now. Okay, now you don't.
Yeah, that's better. Don't worry, I heard your story where you went 2 days, get the rest of the time off.
Yeah, so yeah, I got so I did the two I did I and a day and a half later. or a night and a half later, I had everything primed, everything painted, and it was hilarious. And you froze again.
Why did this glitch? Fuckery is abound on the internet.
Yes, yes, it is. But yeah, so it literally a day and a half later, I had it primed, I had it painted, and I even put down new fucking non-skid paint too,
Nice.
and I had everything blocked off and everything like that. I'm there. My chief is just like literally my first class is like, dude, I don't know how the fuck you did that, but that is quicker and it looks fucking fantastic. Okay, I'm about to fucking punch my fucking computer, and I like my computer.
I don't think it's your computer. I think it's the server that this is recording to.
Probably they probably hear us talking about shit. They're like, nope, we don't want to hear you to talk about that.
It's best Stardos.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I was like, dude, I told you. I was like, if I could fucking get a paintbrush into it, I was gonna get a fucking paintbrush into it. Because and then
Hell yeah.
dude, the funniest part was whenever I was doing the lining for the fucking paint on the deck, I had I instead of doing like what a lot of guys would do and go down there and tape everything, I literally went down there and I painted the areas that were gonna be touching with a fucking paintbrush. I just went and did the proper fucking lining with a paintbrush and then did everything else with a fucking roller.
Nice.
And they were just like, what the fuck? And I get a text from my chief fucking 3 days later. Hey, Cup, good job. Enjoy the rest of your time off. We'll see you back on Monday. I was like, all right, thanks, chief. Even though my first class was like, it was just like, dude, how the fuck? Because apparently they had tried getting other guys to do that before, and they had 4 guys together fucking getting it done, and they took like 2 weeks to get it done.
That's called milking it.
Where I went the E4 Mafia route of get it done quickly so I can quickly go home and take a fucking nap.
And then
And
bill out the entire time.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I will
Oh, because
say
I
though, back to the paint school thing, probably the only part that they did actually teach you something on is the taping off stuff. So like that was one of the qualifying events was the star and bar that's on all aircraft.
yeah,
That
how to
like
tape a
being
perfect
able
fucking circle, the star, and everything like that.
yeah, that's there was that and like how to create a stencil to create every like on Marines, it says Marines on their aircraft, Air Force says Air Force, Navy says that. So like the height and like whatever for
The
the
diameters.
ratios, we're doing every letter.
Yeah,
And then they let you like freestyle make something with paint and like fucking I made a sign, another buddy made a sign,
tail arts and
someone
everything like
else,
that.
yeah, like one dude who like grew up in a body shop in LA made like this fucking crazy gradient looking thing where it's just like, why did you even come to this school? God damn, you're already good.
Well, because you got to
It's like
remember,
it's like
just
it's a
because you
fucking checkbox, whatever.
well, because you got to remember with the military, just because you had those fucking qualifications in the fucking civilian world doesn't mean that they count for shit. Even though the civilian world is a higher qualification.
Or that they believe you that you have
Yeah. No, like if I hadn't
it.
gotten so fucked up and everything like that, my buddy who was a gunner's mate with me, he's still one of my best fucking friends to this day, was trying so hard in 2020 to try to get me to join the Army Reserve. And
Mhm.
I was just like, dude, I just got back what was left of my soul because the 4 year inactive reserve bullshit. And I humored him. I talked to his sister who was a recruiter and everything like that because apparently there's a way that they could have pushed to get me to become a fucking chief warrant officer or some shit, even though without any fucking degrees or anything like that. Because apparently like with my experiences and shit like that, they could have easily pushed for me to be a CWO, and I was just like, I don't know. I'm really fucked up. I'm already getting VA disability and everything like that. I'm pretty sure that that disqualifies me from even joining back into the reserves. And apparently, even if you're at 10%, they'll still fucking say, "Nah, we don't want you."
I could see that.
Yeah, but if I hadn't been fucked up, apparently they could have brought me in to be a fucking CWO for the Army diving team,
Ooh,
like the hard hat diving.
oh,
Because
dude.
I had literally just gotten out of fucking commercial diving school the year prior.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
So I know with the army, like getting warrant officers is like a fucking huge thing for them because then they don't have to use a real officer and like waste one of those fuckers
yeah,
on, actually being in charge of a shop of and like having to know the fucking job. They can just go fuck off and be officers somewhere else.
yeah.
But like, yeah, because like that's a thing is like there's a program where it's called high school to flight school with them, where they basically push you through boot camp, push you through flight school. You become a warrant officer, you're fucking flying helicopters for them.
Which would I wish I'd fucking known about that because I would have done that.
I mean, it's not an easy course, and if you fucking fail out, like
You're
you're going
fucked.
needs of the army, like
Yeah,
you're back to enlisted, your needs of the army at that.
yeah. But I mean, either way though, like you got to remember, going through any fucking military school, it's are you can you breathe, write your fucking name, and just not be a bitch?
There's that, and how fast can you learn this material because you're drinking from a fire hose?
Yeah.
And
Which if I because around like my 3-ish year mark, I was looking at doing a blue to green program of transferring to a different branch, but I got fucked over again. Shitty chain of command
Mhm.
because at my 3-year mark, they start be like, "Hey, you need to start looking about reenlisting, shit like that." And I tried reenlisting as my rate. I tried reenlisting as 3 other fucking rates. Dude, I tried fucking doing basically where it's a rate change, where basically you have to go through a completely different A school and everything like that. I tried going in for the fucking basically doing what Trip did, but for the Navy. I tried. Dude, I got denied for transferring to be the fucking the guy that's the bodyguard for the fucking chaplains. I got denied transfer to that
How did you get denied every reenlistment?
because they were kicking a lot of people out because it was 20 going into 2016.
Okay,
Yeah, it was going into an election year.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the only chance I had of staying in was if I had made a E5, and I took that exam was like a few months after my 3-year mark, and I missed it by 2 fucking points. Literally, I missed by 2 fucking points, and my Gunno was trying so hard to get me a NAM because of the fact that I was the only gunner's mate. I was basically running the armory by my fucking self. I had a second class who was a completely different job rate as me, who was my work center supervisor, who was only doing the fucking maintenance where they just had to go in and verify something was still up to date and that it was where it was fucking supposed to be at. I was doing everything else on my own. And I basically was in charge of that for 3 fucking months by myself shortly after getting to my to my second ship. And he was bringing it up, and our weapons officer, who got to the ship a month after I did, said I had not been on the ship long enough to deserve a name. So they gave she ended up giving it to the fucking second class, who was my work center supervisor, and that chick made first class off because of that name.
All too many times there's stories like this.
Yeah. When the funniest thing ever was, our combat systems officer, who was technically above the weapons officer, loved me. He loved having me there because he was like, dude, you're passionate about your job. Granted, you're not really going for your ESWAS or the enlisted surface warfare pin that you saw that a lot of the Navy guys have, because I thought it was fucking pointless. I'm like, no, I should be learning. I should master my fucking job before I focus on something like that. Which he agreed with. He was 100% on board with that, and he kept signing off on giving me extensions for whenever I needed to get it, because I didn't get on my first ship because my fucking the chief's mess hated me. But our security action force officer, who was the main officer that I was working with one of the other chiefs, who was also a gunner's mate chief, because they were basically in charge of like the security forces for the ship. Basically, the guys who'd get geared up to either go out on the fucking small boat crew off of the ship, or basically if there was a security situation and the ship needed to arm up, uh, they were working with me because again, I was in charge of all of that gear, and they were trying to fucking push that too. Yet none of them could uh, get it passed, because that one officer kept saying no, even though she was below one of the other officers.
Huh.
It was so fucking stupid.
It sounds like the Navy, though.
Yeah. Yet the funny thing is that the one NAM I did have was from whenever I was cranking. When you were helping out in the fucking galley and everything in the kitchen, and for I had been given a task of cleaning out the old elevator that we had that used to run up to the 76 millimeter passageway, but the elevator was no longer operational, so it was just used as storage, and it was down in where the fridge and everything was. I was given the task. I'm like, hey, we need this cleaned out and things stored nicely in there. I looked at the senior chief, who that guy was my mentor, my career mentor. He was an old school Navy guy. He was on the all Navy boxing team. Fuck, he ran the Chiefs mess until he left. Like he looked out for the
Nice.
junior guys. He was one of those guys that looked out for the junior guys, and if he found out a chief was basically abusing any of their own guys, he would go in there and literally beat the shit out of them. But
That's the type of fucking leadership we need.
exactly. We need guys like that. We need guys who are willing to put hands on somebody else for abusing their own juniors. Even if that guy who's putting hands on them has nothing to do with those guys, that is a true leader. Like, no, you're supposed to be teaching these guys what to do, not be a fucking prick. But anyway, he's like, hey, I need this done. Just how long do you think it was going to take you? I was looking at it. I was like, give me 3 days. I had it done on day 2.
Nice.
You see, I also knew the mentality of like, tell them a little bit longer than what you think it's going to take, and then beat that expectation.
Oh yeah.
But the first day I had everything that was in there that was supposed to be in there moved out, got everything I needed to swept up into a trash can that weighed a fuck ton, carried that fucker out by myself off the ship into the dumpster, and then went back in there, made sure everything was clean, and then organized everything that went in there. And the second day I went there and I was like, hey, senior chief. He goes, hey, what's up? I'm like, I'm done. He goes, no fucking way. I'm like, no, I'm actually done. And he came down. He goes, oh shit. Looked at me, and this is how fucking cool he was. He was like, all right, hey, you're good. Go home for the next 2 days. I was like, are you sure? He goes, yeah, no, go home. I was like, all right, senior chief. Went home, came back. Like the very next week on a Monday, I'm sitting there and I get called to the fucking quarterdeck. Or no, he comes down. He goes, Kup, with me now. I'm thinking I'm in fucking trouble. We get up to the fucking quarterdeck. No, he fucking put me up for sailor of the fucking week.
Nice.
And then on top of that, because we had the INSERV, the Navy INSERV and inspection, basically the inspection, the big inspection before deployment. And not only was I doing INSERV for the cranking guys, I also had to go do INSERV for my gunner's mate stuff too. And I helped with us getting a perfect score in the galley, and I also helped with getting us a perfect score for our security reaction force stuff. Because whenever the inspector that was there So my same GMC that fucking hated me was there whenever, because the guy who was in charge of our the enlisted guy who was in charge of it was the second class, and he was like, "Hey, no, I want Cup here for this." Because and my chief was like, "No, no, no, I don't want him anywhere near the inspectors." And the guy was like, "No, you don't understand. Cup is the best guy we have on the ship for this." And my chief is fucking throwing his fit, and he's like, "Fine, but no." He's like, "Well, I'm gonna be there when he does that because the moment he fucks up, I'm gonna be there to fucking tear him a new one." So we're going through this inspection, and the inspector looks at me and he goes, "All right, here's your scenario. One of your shipmates comes back to the ship. You're on quarterdeck watch. They start becoming belligerent and start causing a scene. What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm going to try to de-escalate it first." He goes, "All right, de-escalation isn't working. They're starting to get violent. What are you doing?" I'm like, "All right, do you want by the book or do you want what I'm actually going to do?" I could feel my chief burning holes into the back of my head. The inspector goes, "Humor me. Tell me both." I go, "All right, by the book, tell him mock holds, take him down, handcuff him, everything like that." And then I go, "What I'm really do is I'm judo tossing him face first into the fucking non-skin and then handcuffing him and carrying him downstairs, unconscious." He goes, he looks at everybody, goes, "Follow his fucking lead." Because at that point, if they're becoming belligerent and violent, they're no longer your shipmate. They are a threat to the fucking ship. Because if de-escalation isn't working and they start getting violent, you have to take care of it. Plain and fucking simple. And
Nice.
guess who got a perfect score on that fucking inspection? This guy.
Oh,
And the best part was is that I heard that second class. He goes, "See, Chief, I told you, he's the best we fucking have for this." Because the fucking anti-terrorism was the area that I shined at the best while I was in for my advancement exams for promotions. And my chief fucking hated me for some reason. I was also the guy that I was trying to get attached to, like the Rivron, Mesron teams. I was trying to get attached to, Spec War guys. I was trying to go do something where, I could possibly see some shit.
right.
I had a lot of people tell me I should have joined the Marines. I was just like, yeah, but I was trying to go SEALs before boot camp.
I mean, joining the Marines doesn't guarantee you anything.
Yeah.
I mean, look at me. I joined the Marines. I worked on non-deployable aircraft for 5 years.
Yeah.
Height
Yeah.
of fucking Iraq, 2003 to 2008, zero deployments.
Yep. And, especially during the time that I was in, you weren't picking your job for the Marine Corps. It was, no, you're going where we fucking need you.
Pretty much.
Yeah, because I
And
was in from yeah, because I was in from 2012 to 2016.
even picking your job, you're only picking your field. So I picked one thing and I ended up going another because I couldn't get a security clearance for that because I was a fucking hooligan when I was a child and I
Yep,
smoked a lot of weed. Um, and then the army gave me a fucking security clearance as a civilian contractor after that, which
which is
didn't make
fucking
me
hilarious.
mad at the Marine Corps at all. And um, so I had to go open contract, and that's how I wound up on the Osprey because my original job was a 5-year contract, and so is Air Wing. So they're like, "Perfect, you're smart enough," and I'm like, "Oh shit!"
You're
But
like, oh no, I
friends,
volunteered myself.
all my friends in the Air Wing who picked Air Wing, I'm like, "So wait, you picked this job specifically?" They're like, "No, I picked Air Wing. They picked this specific job for me," and I'm like, this is so fucked up. So apparently you just pick the field and then they pick the fucking job that needs you. And I'm like, huh. So like you're
Yeah.
not picking 0300 infant 0311 infantryman assaultman. You're picking 0300 and then they're going, well, we need a body in mortars, we need a body in here, and we need a body here, and they're just fucking picking that. I'm You're picking air wing and they're going, we need somebody to go fix the avionics on fucking EA6 prowlers. We need a fucking airframer on 53s. Like they're just going, here you go, just go do it. And I'm just like, son of a fucking bitch.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, because one thing I was thinking that, like, if I had gone into the Marine Corps, I would have wanted to try to go sniper specifically.
Mhm.
because to give perspective, I grew up in Southern Illinois. We have a lot of woodland. We have a lot of deer. We have turkeys. We have a lot of game animals where I'm from. And I grew up in those woods. I knew how to fucking go through the woods without letting it fucking being heard most of the fucking time. And whenever I lived in New Mexico for a few months, my grandmother lived up way in the fucking mountains in a small town called Daddle, which population is 50. 50.
Hmm.
Yeah, there was a gas station, a post office. That was it. But there was a ton of fucking elk up there. And like where my grandmother's property was at, we had a national park or like public hunting land right next to us. And but the elk would hop over her fence, but her land was almost no fucking trees. But there was a time where near her back fence, which you could see through the back window, there was some elk, and she had me out there doing some work and everything like that. And I saw these elk. They were like a good 200 yards away from me. I set down my tools quietly, creeped closely, and then got into the prone and was just army crawling. Dude, I got within 20 feet of those fucking elk
Nice.
when they could fucking see me. I got within 20 feet of them. And my grandmother was on the phone with my mom while I was doing that, telling her about it. Because my grandmother saw me doing that and called my mom and was talking to her about that. And my mom was like, "No, that's in line for him." And then she thought, okay, well, he's probably not going to get too close. And then my mom was like, "No, no, if he can get close enough to touch them, he's going to fucking touch them." And like, I got within 20 feet, and I was gonna keep moving closer until my grandmother started yelling out the fucking window. Imagine somebody who could do that going through a fucking U.S. military sniping school.
Yeah, I do believe from everything I've read and heard that that is part of the fucking wickets.
Yeah. Now, if I could do that in, you know, regular fucking attire, imagine giving me a ghillie suit.
That would be fun. That would be cool. But here's the thing, if you join the Marines, you do somehow manage to get an infantry contract because everyone wants one and no recruiter wants to give them out,
For
because
whatever
there's
reason.
so many other fucking jobs in the Marine Corps. Nobody knows this, especially when you're enlisting. You go retarded and you're like, I want to be a Marine. Great. What job you want to do? What do you mean? I want to shoot people. But everyone does that. You go that, and they look at you and they go, oh man, this kid's strong. You will carry a machine gun. You're not going to be a sniper though.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, the thing is, like, I've shown you pictures of what I used to fucking look like. I was,
Yeah.
granted, like I was like built, but I didn't look super fucking strong. Granted, I could manhandle a guy that was close to 300 pounds with a foot fucking height on me, like he was a sack of potatoes. But but no, but the fact is that like if I'd gone in the Marines, I would have gone in for a sniper. I would be like, hey, listen, I'm wanting to be a sniper. I've grew up hunting. I know how to handle myself. I can move through areas without being quiet. I have fucking witness testaments that have witnessed me getting within 20 feet of a fucking elk in fucking open fucking field. I'm pretty sure that if a recruiter heard that, they would have been like, "Fuck."
On one hand, they would have gone, fuck. On the other hand, they would have gone, I can promise you infantry. I can't promise that you're going to get, um,
Sniper.
uh, well, not sniper, because first you got to get
Oh yeah, oh,
just
oh 311.
regular. Yeah, you got to get 0311, and then you have to convince them that your unit that they need to send you to sniper school, which is
Yeah,
basically just like your fucking rifle score is good, and how good of a marine are you, and like a few other things, and does your unit even need one, like shit
yeah.
like that.
And then if they said I couldn't promise you that, I would be like, all right, going to the army. Bye. But dude, no. Here's one thing that pissed me off. I was watching the Fat Electrician's fucking video on Carlos Hathcock, and apparently how all of the branches have their own shooting teams, and I'm like, Why was that never an option for me to try out for?
Because you have to know about it first. Then you have
Yeah.
to know how to get to it, and then your ship's
Yeah,
got to
well,
let you go.
you have to know somebody,
Yeah.
and if you know somebody who is on those teams, and they talk to their CO about it, that CO is usually like higher than a fucking the gold star or the gold leaf.
Yeah.
They're usually like a
So oh
full bird
six
yeah, they're usually like a full bird, an oh 06. So for us, that'd be a captain. For you, I don't know what it is for the Marines.
Colonel,
Yeah, but because
Fulberg Colonel.
yeah, yeah, full bird. Yeah, because they're usually part of like the bigger commands and everything like that. So they're usually like a full bird, and they could have been like, "Hey, we've heard about this guy. We want him. We're not taking a no for an answer." There's nothing a fucking chief could say about that.
Yeah, yeah. Chiefs usually don't have an option.
Yeah, when a full bird says, "Hey, we've heard about this guy. We want this guy. Gimme."
Well, yeah, but I have to cut this because I really have to poop.
No, it's all good, man. Hey, Steve, it was good seeing you again. Uh, this time we had a lot more talking going on than the last one because during that last one we were both just like in fucking zonked out world.
This is normal, and also a little bit of feeling each other out, and then it's like, all right, I can bro down with this guy.
Oh yeah. Which, by the way, if you ever get the time to come down here, let me know. My back neighbors, who I've made friends with since between the last time you and I talked, they have 20 acres of land where they have hogs and nilgai, which are year round, no bag limit.
Oh, what part of Texas is this?
South Texas, Brownsville, Texas. I'm as far fucking south in
Okay,
Texas as you can go. Um, yeah, for the nilgai, you just need to get your hunting license. But for as long as you're like disabled vet, they don't even really check to see what percentage you are most of the time. Um,
I'm a big fat 0%.
okay, but yeah. Either way, the
I
out of
would
state hunting
lie
license.
to say that I have tinnitus. I don't have tinnitus, which is a fucking miracle considering I was airway.
Yeah, gunner's mate. I was around basically the Navy's version of artillery. I have it. I have partial hearing loss in my left ear.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah,
I'm
no,
the
we have
luckiest
the
fucker in the world.
we have nilgai, which is an Asian antelope. The average weight of the bulls is like 600 pounds,
Well,
and
I know what they look like. I've seen them.
yeah, and then of course those you need your hunt lessons for. The hogs, on the other hand, you do not.
You just
And
need to be able to breathe because it's an invasive species.
yes, technically they both are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, Steve, I will catch you later, my friend.
Talk to you later, dude. And I'm gonna send
In
you that picture of my cat that looks like Snark.
fuck yes, and I'm gonna show it to my wife, and she's gonna be like, "Oh my god, he's adorable."
He's fantastic.
All right, well, enjoy Alaska. I'm very jealous that you're up there, especially with the fucking temperatures.
Well, I mean, I've also been working here since February, 2 weeks on, 1 week off.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
yeah, dude, I don't know how much you make, but it's probably more than I am because I'm currently a scale house operator at a fucking gravel pit.
I've been at the same job since 2010, so they've increased my pay a few times.
Yeah, yeah, no, I would like if it allowed me to go up to like Alaska for a few months at a time and everything like that, making some good fucking money. I'd be pretty happy.
Well, like we said earlier, you can't win if you don't play the lottery.
Exactly. All right, later, man.
Later, dude.